Hello, Twitch.
Hello, world.
We are live. Let me get the map lined up here. Welcome back.
Are you gonna play the music? Play the music.
I'm gonna play the music in a minute. We're gonna
play the
do a little
music.
intro.
Did you miss me?
Welcome back to the Forbidden
missed
Lands. This is
you.
our third session. I hope that we are continuing to get incrementally better at this every week. We're a little sharper on the rules, and we continue to figure out stream issues as we go.
More dirt.
When last we left our heroes, they have just trudged through the deep, dark forest of the Dankwood on the trail of a lost elven artifact known as the Phantom Dagger. They have followed the trail right here to the village of the Hollows, a place with a creepy name, and all they know about the place is that the inhabitants there are a bit odd. And we see the village from afar, and let's kick it off.
A hamburger patty.
It could
That
go.
sounds like a beef quesadilla.
See, the theme music ends, and the first thing said is a hamburger patty. All right, you're all fired.
This is why
You're supposed
we said
to
mute us during the theme
The
song.
purpose of the theme song is to get ready and get in the zone, and then you're all talking about barbecuing. You
We're
bastard.
not talking about
just
barbecue.
ended for me, by the way.
All right. Oh, it did?
Talking about cookout.
Oh.
Yeah.
Lag.
There must be some latency. Today I learned. Okay. Anyway, welcome back, everyone. And when last we left our heroes, we are overlooking the village of the Hollows. The village is a welcome sight. A bunch of well-to-do houses are standing close together, slightly obscured by billowing chimney smoke. You hear the sounds of children playing and catch the smell of fresh bread on the breeze. When you get closer, you can see a low stone wall encircling the small settlement that is guarded by a few simple stone towers. You see a wooden sign planted next to a narrow dirt road with the written words, "Welcome to the Hollows. Drink from our tankards, eat from our bowls, but honor the dead, walking by our sides." To get into character, I would like everybody to utter whatever line your character would say, emerging from the forest, seeing this village in the distance. Starting with Grunralk.
Oh, great. It's a whole town of you pinkskins.
Valas.
What do you think they mean, walking by our side?
Vergello.
Jeez, I need a bath.
Covered in mud and blood from head to toe. And Ayan.
I'd much rather stay in the forest than go in here.
Alright, so you are looking at the village, which is built around the base of a jagged stone hillock, surrounded by a low stone wall, as we said. The town is surrounded by some fields, farmlands, planted with rye, grain, turnips, and various vegetables. There is a dirt path winding out from the town out into the wilderness to the southwest, and it looks like off in the distance there's another dirt path heading off to the southeast. There's a small stream running through the town that merges some distance up ahead with the Mellowater River, the very same river that flows through your hometown of Lingmel. The dirt trails do not look very well worn or maintained. In fact, they taper off a few hundred feet from the town and turn into a branching series of faint hunting tracks. And so there's two entrances into the town that you can see, both with sturdy wooden gates, a couple of little crumbled old stone watchtowers, and the fields are devoid of anyone as far as you can see. There's no one out working them on this day in the early spring. And take it away.
This is out of character question.
Yeah.
You said we have to explore to go into the city. It's not like moving into a tile or whatever.
Yeah, you're already in the tile. It's an exploration action to enter. So if you want to do any quarter day things, it'll shift from daytime to nighttime when you arrive. So you just tell
Okay,
me if you want to go on in or if you want to not approach.
we should definitely just go on. I don't think we should go in at nighttime into a town of weirdos.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
I
Much
mean, we
less-
are a couple of weirdos, but it's a goblin and then two people who look like they were murdered, and then, a rogue. They always look suspicious.
Okay. Well, it looks like there's two entrances to the town. You're coming from off to the east, or the west rather. I know left from west. It looks like this entrance will take you into a side of town with an old water mill and some large warehousey looking, more industrial wood shack buildings. Yeah, describe the manner of your approach.
Boisterously. No. Yeah,
Just
I mean,
standard way to walk into town.
Goblin
Yeah.
feet slapping on the dirt.
I step with my left foot first as I walk, and then I follow with my right foot, and I repeat until I get to the gate.
Okay.
If you're
Is
talking
the gate-
about order,
the gate
I want to
shut?
be out front
Oh,
in all my
I-
green skin glory.
I'll be standing right beside him if he's out front. You look like you're not wearing pants when you gesticulate like that.
what?
That's just what Hank was doing. It just looked like he was a green goblin, but not wearing pants.
All right. So as you approach, you see a low, badly worn stone wall, half as tall as a man, snaking around the parts of the village that aren't facing the hillock. The entire wall is covered in winding overgrowth and tiny pink flowers. The gates themselves. The road enters the village by way of a massive iron-bound gate made of oak. The gate has a shutter in it, like a little sliding thing that somebody could pop up on the other side. Next to the gate, a worn copper bill is attached to the side of the wall at about eye level.
The gate shut.
Yeah, the gate is shut, even in the daytime.
I'll walk up to the bell and give it a good ring. Hello, visitors from another town.
Hello.
Hello.
Uh,
Totally cut out.
You notice over to one side that there is a guard in old tattered looking armor who looks kind of weary, and he's resting on his hands at the top of that old stone tower off to the left, and he sees you and he goes like this, waves a finger like 1 minute, and he comes down and disappears down into the tower and comes walking along behind the wall because the wall isn't even chest height.
I was
you
gonna
can see
ask,
him just walking on the other side of the
Can
wall.
we just jump over the wall?
Might not be the most.
Probably not. It's just like you said, it was half a man tall.
So
that's a full goblin tall.
that's a full grown rock.
Yeah, Grunral can't see over the wall for sure. For sure, these.
It's meant to keep out goblins.
What's he doing?
All right, and he walks over and opens the shutter, and he's like, "State your business."
Weary travelers just looking for some supplies and the word of the day.
All right, Ed, come on in.
Thank you kindly.
He opens the gate, giving you a view of this main causeway into town. A broad dirt path running between some fairly large buildings. As you're coming through, he's sort of sizing you up, looking you up and down a little bit suspiciously. You do notice that once you get into town, either side of the main roads through the town have narrow stone, like polished stone rows, a single stone wide that are painted bright red. So there's like red stripes down both sides of the road through the town. You also notice that basically every building in town has a post outside of it somewhere with like a big bronze bell hanging on a post outside all the major buildings. And on either side of you, you see large buildings that you make out to be let's see. Over off to the left, along the side of the river, is a mill, the wheel of which slowly spins in the current of the stream. Connected to the mill is a large windowless building. Smoke billows from a wide chimney, winding its way up the hillock, evoking memories of the blood mist in your mind. On the other side of the street is a 2-story building, the upper story made from timber and tarred black. From this building you can hear music and laughter, even here in the daytime. 3 small casks hang in chains from the roof of the porch. A sign to the right of the door announces, "Welcome to the Three Skulls. Dwarves and other beard gobs don't bother."
Other beard gobs.
The good thing Az is shaved.
I think all of us are shaved, aren't we?
believe so. Didn't know goblins could grow beards.
Wait. Is that last part about me?
Is that a known slur for goblins?
A gob.
Beard gob? Josh?
It's a dwarf slur, yeah.
It's a slur for dwarves.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not for goblins, so he's fine.
Yeah, this is a tavern that is not friendly to dwarves, apparently.
That's fine.
Well, it's a good thing there aren't any here.
Yeah. Is the guard that opened the gate for us still around, or did he already make his way back up the tower?
He's still around. He's sizing you up.
I want
He
to size
says-
him up too.
He says, "I recommend the Three Skulls Brewery if you're looking for a place to stop and rest your travel-weary and wounded selves."
Does this Three Skulls have a bath, perhaps? Or should I bathe myself in the river?
I'm sure they could take care of you there, yeah.
Fantastic. You're a scholar and a gentleman, sir.
The brewmaster's name is Yawim. He's a proud sort. Just be cordial and enjoy your stay. The ale's fantastic.
Darwin?
God, I had
Yawim.
one last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
What's the town motto again?
The motto
Written on the song.
said, "Drink from our tankards, eat from our bowls, but honor the dead, walking by our sides."
Okay, thank you.
So this big L-shaped building on the right-hand side of the road is the Three Skulls Tavern, apparently.
Let's walk right in.
All right.
I walk right in.
Let's
I will follow.
Oh no, this is way too friendly for the Three Skulls. Let's try again.
This doesn't sound like a bunch of racists.
Sounds. I feel like we're in like a really peaceful, like elven bathhouse.
I
That
don't.
wouldn't be so bad.
I need
I
some.
It might look at me funny.
Racists.
Yeah, this is a little odd, but we'll go with it. Okay, it's very odd, but it's fine.
I don't know. The like tuba in the background was pretty
Yeah.
fitting.
I was gonna say that wasn't a tuba.
I mean, it's not that bad. Okay. All right. So, Da, 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 da.
I look around with my eyes.
Yes.
What do your half elven eyes see?
My
Let's see.
friend.
Please hold. You step inside. There is a
I
there's
have
an
dark vision.
elderly. You don't need dark vision. There's an elderly-looking old minstrel who is playing a lute with 3 strings on it, and just plucking away calmly. Who looks up at you for a moment and then looks back down. There are 2 patrons presently in the tavern who are sitting at a corner table. There's maybe a dozen tables in here total. And there's a big open doorway on the back face of the tavern leading to a room full of casks that goes way deep back beyond where you go. It looks like this is a tavern attached to a large brewery operation. And there's more to the building than just the inn and tavern. There's a staircase going to the upstairs area, and there is behind the counter at the bar, polishing out a mug with a rag, what appears to be a dwarf with no beard shaved off, polishing out the inside of a mug, and he goes, "Welcome to the Three Skulls. Come on in. Have yourselves a seat, travelers. Finest ale in the realm."
This is fantastic. I'll walk up to the bar with our shaven friend.
The two men at the table are just watching you walk in, very quietly, very calmly. They've each got multiple empty mugs in front of them, and they stop whatever conversation they were having. So you wander on up to the bar. He's like,
Yes.
"Brewmaster Yawim, at your service."
I've only been here for but a moment, and I've only heard great things about you, sir.
You're eyeing this guy up, and you are fairly certain he's a dwarf. He's got a big shiny gold tooth. You've heard tale of dwarves, and you've seen a handful of dwarves over the years. Never one without a beard.
How tall are are there chairs?
Yeah,
Do I have to climb to get in this chair?
Yes.
I'm trying to imagine.
I'm gonna
this-
scramble up into a little stool and pop myself down where I can see.
Okay.
Is he on a stool on the other side of this bar?
You think he probably is,
I
yeah.
don't need to look. I'm just wondering the logistics of how tall is the bar top, I guess. If I'm
Standing on a
pretty
box.
sure he's a dwarf.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So he has something like a stage or something he's standing on behind the bar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
Okay.
think he's standing tall enough that he's probably on a step stool back there to give him a little boost.
I perfectly understand.
Uh-huh.
I'll ask him. What would you recommend for 4 weary travelers? I honestly hope a bath is somewhere on that list, but we would gladly take a drink as well.
I highly recommend the Three Skulls Ale. It's the finest you'll find in all the realm.
I'll take one. Lady, gentlemen, would you like one as well?
No, thank you.
I'm good.
How much are they?
Let's see here. He eyes you up a little bit. And let's see. Checking
The
the
first
checking the price here.
First
We
one's
got-
on the house, so make sure we really like it.
Is there a
He
bulk
says, "I will."
discount?
He does offer free samples if you want. He says, "I'll give you a taste if you like."
I'm happy for a taste.
Sorry,
I'll
let's
take a
see
taste.
here.
I don't know if I'll buy one. Yeah, 5 silver. I don't know.
I'm
what
trying
I'll
to
buy.
find my money. My thing says 0 money, and I feel like that can't be right.
No,
I'm-
that-
This is a fantasy role playing game. It can't be that close to reality.
No, you
It's next to your willpower.
It's ironic that they're
Got
together.
Okay, I have 3 silver.
Sorry, one sec.
Googles how much does ale cost.
Yeah, I'm looking for the. Sorry, I saw this earlier. Now I
Say
can't
yes.
find it. It was under trade goods.
I'm sorry to ask a stumper of a question.
No.
No, it's pivotal for the storyline.
We're gonna call it 5 coppers, so it's half a silver piece. And you don't have to roll for drink for the day if you purchase it.
You mean for the
Beer
next day?
equals water?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
Catch that, babe.
Have we not already rolled for drink for the day?
You have.
We have.
Okay.
Just said, yeah. And
What about
get drunk, spend money.
I just found this and now I can't find it. Oh, there we go. Flagon of ale. Covers the daily need of water. 2 copper. That's the one. Standard going
Josh was
price.
trying to swindle us.
I was.
That's what
Hey,
it costs.
sometimes you gotta
for
keep it going,
dwarves.
but the price of ale is not to be trifled with, so definitely worth pausing for 2 whole minutes. All
I
right.
now I don't even need a free sample. I'll pass him. I'll put 2 coppers out on the table.
All right. He slides you a hefty flagon of ale, foaming at the top, gold and yellow in color. It's delightful. It's the best ale you've ever had in your life.
This is magnificent.
I know.
You make that here.
Yes, we do. We brew it up right in that building over there, right in that building.
I don't
over
think
there.
I ever want to leave here. I look to my party members. I don't think I ever want to leave this place.
Well, best stay on this side of town because the ale over there is garbage.
I don't even need to taste the ale anywhere else.
What's wrong with the ale over there?
Is
Can
it
I have
made
a
by
sample
dwarves?
still?
It's not the ale
Yes.
over here.
He pours you a tiny sample and slides it over. It's a shot glass worth.
Which is like a flagon for
It's
you.
it's
It
divine.
comes in pints.
It tastes so much better than mud. You have no idea.
I tell him so.
This is so much better than the dirt I've been eating.
Thank you. Pardon me. But many types of kin inhabit these lands, as you know. What brings 2 elven spring, 1 full-blooded elf, and a green-skinned goblin down by a village of us human folk?
The river.
We were, in fact, following the river, as my friend says. Got lost for a minute, and though this was our final destination, had a few hiccups along the way.
I can't
And
say the
we're
Hollows is many people's final destination, unless you're talking about the dead. But
Well,
we're happy to have you.
we appreciate the gratitude in which we've been received so far. We were looking for someone who may have come through this way. We're honestly following rumors at this point. I don't know if you may have heard the name Elsis?
Elysis.
That's it. That's the one.
Oh my. He goes very serious. I recall a chap by that name coming through my tavern a few years back. Came stumbling out of the blood mist, looking awful and muttering to himself. Are you kin of his?
It was Ellis's. Was he elf, half elf?
He was human.
He was human. Well, as an Elven Spring, I mean, at least half of me probably was kin, but no, not direct blood related, as far as I'm aware.
Well, that's a relief, because he's dead now.
Oh,
Sorry, what?
okay.
Well, I'm sorry to say, he came through this tavern, just a racked soul full of guilt and sadness, and he set up in this tavern, for many days, drank himself silly, talking on about his sister and some terrible things the Rust brothers did to her out in the forest, and and he was, I'm sad to say, consumed with sadness. He drank himself into oblivion, and one night wandered out there and drowned himself in the stream. He's resting with the dead folk now.
So you did find his body.
Yes, I believe Mrs. Pullmore and the village elders, they fished him up out of the stream. I lent them one of my boats, but of course they weren't grateful in the least, as though it were owed to them. And they fished him up out of the stream and went and buried him with the other dead. I've seen his visage wander in the streets in the night since, always with that same look of forlorn, always with that same lost sadness about him.
Am I to
'Twas a dark
understand
fate.
the lovely slogan we saw outside means that you see his specter along with the others at night? I'm sorry, we're not very familiar with the Hollows.
Yes, of course. He walks up and down the streets. We pay him the respects that he's due, just like all the others, and then he returns to rest at the sunrise.
So
How
many
fascinating.
questions. How do you pay respects to the dead when they walk among you?
Well, first off, by staying out of their way, by not antagonizing them and not going too far so as to upset them, because those who do that meet a bitter end, without exception. And yes, we let them parade their way, and if we do need to step out during their hours, we always forewarn them with the proper sayings, and we ring the bells.
And what are the proper sayings?
You ask a lot of.
Well, if we're to be guests in your town,
We just
I'm
don't
sorry.
want
It's
to offend.
I've been here my whole life, and well,
I understand. It's a little bit of culture shock for us
Alright.
as well.
well, I'll say this. We don't want to anger the dead. I know you're foreign folk, and so you're unfamiliar with our ways. But whenever we set out, we always ring the bells, and I need to find it. 1 sec. He'll recite the saying that they say when they ring the bells. And
Can I ask an out of character
there it
clerical
is.
question?
He says, if you wish to go out after dark, you must ring the bell loudly 3 times and speak the words, "I come in peace and amity in the hour of the dead." And they shall pay you little heed if you don't molest them further from there.
Could I get Josh to repeat that?
I come, ring the bell loudly 3 times.
I come in peace and amity in the hour
in
of the dead.
Okay.
He says, and I recommend if you can, just stay inside after dark, because misunderstandings happen, and it's best to just steer clear of those who are restless.
When he was here and not dead, did he by chance have a tattoo on his arm?
I believe he did. Yes, he had a.
Black dagger.
That's right. I asked him if he was in a gang or something, and he didn't take kindly to the questioning, and so I didn't bring it up again.
And where might his body be buried?
Oh, I can't say to be exact. Somewhere out in the old graveyard, I believe. He gestures
Any
up
chance
towards
there's a headstone?
the northeast side of town. He said, yeah. He says, yeah, they would have given him a headstone. Yeah. The old smith would have chiseled it out for him.
Yawen, you are very knowledgeable, and we appreciate your guidance.
Well, I thank
Yeah,
you for
y'all
that.
are real nice to dead people.
I still must ask. What was your business here in the Hollows? You said it was You said it was your destination, but you came seeking Elysis. Did he know something you needed? Was he a friend of yours? Are you just looking to see the world? We get many types out here, but most can say more clearly where they're headed. We lost Aimee. Ba-doop.
So sorry, I don't know what just happened.
No, both you and Hank are fired now.
You're all fired. So yeah, he inquires further
so
as to
sorry.
your purpose here.
We were interested in Elysis. Well, we've actually just had a fascination in body art, in the Elven Spring village, which me and my companion here grew up. There wasn't a lot, and when Velas here showed up, she mentioned it, and we took an inquiry. And of course, as a ragtag group as we are, she showed up with our new goblin friend here, and as an interesting adventure as it could be, we just had to set off and sort of follow the trail.
Turns out my scars didn't count.
Yeah, scars are not tattoos, but still very impressive nonetheless.
I'm gonna like mess around with my stud leather armor. Trying to see
Did
if
you
I
know
can get
that
something.
he's actually really good at telling direction? His mud comment earlier, he tastes the dirt and can know what direction we're supposed to travel in. It's fascinating. He knows if we're in the right area based on the taste of the dirt.
I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but you're all very odd. I'll leave you to yourselves, and if you'd like to order more drinks, you let me know. Here, have a private booth. And
I have one more question.
Yes.
Is there a smithy or armorer in this town?
Oh, yes, there certainly is. His name is well known to me because I live here, and it's not that big a village. And it obviously is
Smith.
Ness, the blacksmith.
Ness?
Ness.
Ness.
Okay.
Don't
Like the
mention
little
his
kid with the baseball cap.
don't mention his PK fire. No, he doesn't say that. He'll direct you to the smithy, which is let's see, in town. It is here. I'll ping on the map. You ready? 1, 2, 3, blam! It's that one right there.
Okay.
Okay.
He'll describe the location of the smithy. He says he's a grumpy old soul. But if you have business with him, you have business with him. So I try to steer clear of him. But
And do you have rooms for rent and perhaps a
we certainly
bucket of
do.
water?
We certainly do. Yes.
How much would that be?
I'll give you a price in a moment.
With such
it's-
fine drinks, I would hate to wander into a.
3 coppers for a
Yes.
warm bath, and lodging is going to be, if you want a private room, 5 copper. If you want to sleep on a cot in one of the those storage rooms for the barrels in the back, there's cots in there that you can just rent out for 2 copper if you want to
Okay.
sleep in a common room and not have privacy.
And is everything base 10? 10 copper, 1 silver, 10
Yeah.
silver, 1 gold. Okay.
Yeah.
Could the 4 of us fit in one private room?
Just sleeping.
Yeah, it won't be comfy, but you can have a small room to yourselves, and they'll give you enough cots to sleep on the floor.
I almost think that might be better. Just because we don't want anyone to be messing with our stuff.
He will ask you one more
Yeah.
question. He wants to know what town you come from.
A wonderful question.
I know
World
that.
map.
The answer is Lingmel,
You
if you
guys
want
are
to tell
from
him the truth.
Lingmel. I'm not from Lingmel.
You're from Mistwall.
Mistwall.
Anyway,
Into the
where'd you travel from?
Well, our last, out of character question. We met at Lingmel, right?
Yeah,
Like we met.
yeah, you
Aimee
met and
and
launched
Hank's
from Lingmel
characters. Okay.
off screen.
Then yeah, I'd just say, oh well, our previous destination was Lingmel, my hometown. though not as
Lingmel.
fascinating as the Hollows.
Ah,
for
the
sure.
village of the Elven Spring. Greenstop, they call it. I would love to sell my ale there. I'm trying to work my way that far upstream because I
Oh
think
my goodness.
there's probably a bustling market for it. Am I right?
There absolutely is. If you go to do that and you are preparing to do so, and I'm here in town, please let me know. I will personally escort you, and I will sing song of how fantastic your drink is.
I would love to do that. Of course, that is if old Mrs. Paulmore doesn't run me out of business with her brutal taxation. But that's a conversation for another day. Please.
Yeah, we could easily share a drink over that.
Of course. I would be happy to if you're looking for work. I'm always looking for allies in town. But I'll leave you be. Enjoy your stay. The Three Skulls is happy to have travelers of your ilk. He realizes he has no profession word to put to exactly what you're doing. Enjoy your stay. Come tap me if you need a tap. And he wanders off, leaving you in a private
as he
room.
goes to walk away, I'll just turn to my friends and like, I will say that is probably the nicest, most well-spoken human I've ever met.
That's a joke, right?
No, he's fantastic. He's incredibly generous.
No, he was fantastic and very generous.
I just kind of give you the look, like, just shut your mouth. the
You know, I
stop talking look.
I'm very familiar. I couldn't. Oh, it's from the game. I was like,
I'm just putting on a little background music. So,
Am I being robbed by bards?
yes, you're being
we
robbed.
pay for a private room?
we need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get a
Alright.
private room if you'd
What
like.
did he say it was?
He's given you
Five?
a booth to sit at that is spaced out from the other patrons. If you're too noisy, they might hear you, but you're at a reasonable distance, so barring any weirdness, they're unlikely to be able to hear your conversation much, though they do occasionally eye you, and they look like two old men that don't have a lot to talk about, or that they can communicate with each other, mostly with facial expressions, and they're sitting there many drinks deep in the middle of the day, and occasionally look over and eye you curiously, and then mutter things to each other. So there are two suspicious-looking older men in there, kind of eyeing you up. You do notice that Grunrock is drawing perhaps more glances than the others. They're not trying to be all that subtle about being suspicious of the goblin in their town. But
He's a
nobody
human
confronts
too.
you. Everybody is, apparently. So you have the opportunity to sit, enjoy the ale, discuss what you want to do, and if you would like Yawim's attention, just let me know.
Every time I catch them looking at me, I'll just start like picking at my teeth with my tongue in the most disgusting way that I can. And then when they look away, I'll grin.
I'm going to step away for a minute while
perhaps-
you all discuss privately at the table without me, and then you can catch me up on anything when I get back.
I think perhaps we should rest the first night. Perhaps stay up a little later and keep watch on the town. See what goes on at night, he said, about the spirits. We don't want to rush into anything, and perhaps the second night we try and talk to Ulysses.
As far as the spirits go, I would agree. I don't know how much time we have left in the day, but if we have enough, we could perhaps visit the smith. I know that I'm out of the only weapon I had, being my grandmother's butter knife.
I'll pull that out and just be like,
Hold on to it until you get yours fixed. As much as it's a treasured heirloom, I feel safer with you having a weapon. But I'm fine with honestly taking a nice hot bath.
Well, the other thing that I think we should do is he mentioned another tavern across town.
yeah.
He did.
Maybe we should step in there and see if any of his information is conflicting with theirs.
We could always swing by, depending on our time frame, of course. Is there, out of character, would a blacksmith sell bows like a bowyer?
Wait a
I
minute.
don't.
I don't know for sure, but we can always check. I mean, I'm assuming that if he doesn't, he can kind of point us in the direction of.
I'm sure
Okay.
that there's someone that sells a bow here. Hunting has to be a part of.
Daily
For
life.
sure.
Yeah, there's woods here.
Would you guys know, and I don't know if Josh has his headphones back in,
Not
does
Yes.
to proficiencies with weapons, could I get a bow and shoot a bow and like I just
Yep, it
wouldn't be as
uses.
good because I don't.
There's no proficiencies in this game. It's just you use the marksmanship skill. So if you have ranks in the
Okay.
marksmanship skill, then you're good at it. If you don't have ranks, it's going to be pretty hard to use effectively. And you can use pretty much anything.
I mean, I think it would end up being the same as my yeah. It literally is the same as my melee, which is
Yeah.
3. So I would feel more comfortable.
Yeah, generally better
Shooting from
weapons are going to be more expensive, and since things break in this game, it sort of puts a cost on using like really nice weapons, and it uses a different skill depending on. It'll be marksmanship if you want to fight with a bow, which uses your agility stat. So it just comes down to what your character is good at and what you want to spend the money for.
And then 2 things. One, it's daytime, right? So it's not like evening, dusk, or whatever. We explored day.
Right. It's still daytime. There's enough daylight for you to go on and do more things if you want.
That's what I was wondering. Is like we explored this area, but I didn't know if like if you go to a blacksmith.
The explore action on the exploration tab just means we spend the day doing things in the village. We go in there and do things. So you have the whole day. You haven't been here that long. You spent the morning traveling here, so you probably got here late morning. You went to the tavern, you had some drinks, you learned some things, you talked, and you still have the bulk of the day to poke around town and do whatever it is you'd like.
Perfect. Then I think I would leave my friends at the table and just go to Yawin and go ahead and get us a private room.
Okay.
And ask him if I could pay in advance for a bath for when I have the opportunity.
Okay.
To take one. And I don't remember the cost of that, so I can remove it from my copper.
Okay. The bath will be 3 copper. The private room will be 5. So whoever would like to spend that, Yawin will get that to you. I will clarify one thing. You were asking about where your friend might have been buried. He tells you, he'll clarify something for you. There's 2 cemeteries. There's the old cemetery, which is inside of the walls. And he says, we don't disturb the old cemetery. Anybody who's died in recent years would be buried in the new cemetery outside of the walls to the north of town. If you look at the map, you can see that there's 2 cemeteries, one inside of town and one outside of town. So your friend would be buried in the cemetery outside of town. The cemetery inside of town is... You get the impression from the way he describes it that it is sacred/taboo on some level, and that your friend would be buried somewhere out there if you're searching for his grave.
How high up are these walls again?
Chest height at most.
So I could like just hop the wall here. I wouldn't have to like.
You could, but they have guards stationed on towers, so they might not be happy with you hopping in and out at random places.
Yeah, if there's no one around, it's probably very easy for you to leave. But I would ring the bell and let you in and out.
There's a gate right there on the side close to it that you could just kind of go there and then go north.
Is anyone else concerned about our friend that we met in the woods?
Who?
The guy that was following us.
Stalker.
No.
Got him?
Should we perhaps take any precautions?
Got us a private room.
About him hurting us.
Got us a private room.
I also got us a bath if you would care to join me, and we could save money. It's 3 coppers for a bath.
There's a perfectly good river there.
Gonna share a bath?
I certainly tried, but apparently Aen's fine using the river.
Fair enough.
I want to go see the blacksmith.
I would also like to see the blacksmith.
I need my armor fixed.
Armor.
All right. Out of character question again. would it be better to try and fix things yourself before going to the blacksmith?
Yeah.
Like cheaper.
Yeah.
But that takes a whole quarter day, or can we do that as part of like sitting down here at the table?
It's a quarter day action to try to repair your weapon. So the situation with her dagger is it's bent. She's trying to unbend it without snapping it or permanently warping it. And so she's got to like heat it up a bit over a candle, put some weight on it, and try to get it flattened out and see if it's bent beyond repair or if it's able to hold being bent back. It is a quarter day craft roll. If it is failed, it is permanently broken, and she'll just have to buy a new dagger. It's possible she could sell the scrap of the old dagger for a small fraction of the cost to make it, but if you fail a craft roll to repair it, it's permanently broken.
So if she goes to a blacksmith to repair it, it's not going to cost the same as it would to buy a new dagger?
Right. The blacksmith would probably charge a quarter of the cost of the dagger for him to do a repair roll. And then he gets a whole bunch of dice, and it's unlikely to break. If it does break, he's going to be like, out of luck.
I'll convince him to push the roll.
Also, when looking at the cost of things in the handbook, it says cost, and it doesn't give like, is it 1 copper, 1 silver, 1 gold? It just says 1.
That was my clerical question. Is the units in the book, for instance, for the studded leather armor, its cost is like I had it up. Hold on. Its cost is 6.
A dagger costs 2 silver. I'm not sure where you're looking, but I'm looking at the melee weapons on page 186, and it has cost to buy them.
I'm looking at 107.
I'm looking at
maybe that's not where the purchasing information is.
You're in like the combat chapter or something that just has stats and stuff. The cost is 2 silver for a dagger. Was that the one you were checking?
Get a boss.
Studded leather armor.
6 silver.
Cool. Okay.
Oof, I don't think I'm going to be buying a bow.
What is it worth?
Short bow is 6 silver.
Yawam comes back over to your table. He's like, he's seen you counting your coin purses and comparing and going, I got this bent dagger, I got 3 silver, you got 2 silver. And he's like, if you're looking to earn a penny, I can put you to work.
Oh?
Doing what?
Well, it would depend on your willingness for discretion, I suppose. Looking
like
for,
being quiet?
Yes, in part. Yes.
I'm pretty
That's you out, Grumrock.
I'm pretty quiet.
We're great at keeping
His voice
secrets.
echoes through
He's
the tavern.
technically a halfling.
I'm pretty quiet. One sec.
I thought I was going to get to play my lyre. Replace the old man with a 3-stringed...
I mean, you might still get to play the lyre.
Hey!
He'll pull up a stool next to the...
That's really good.
He'll pull up a stool next to your table. And
Does he
says,
hop onto it?
Okay,
Does he have to?
when he
Yes,
walks up,
yes.
is he like markedly shorter than the table? Is he like head height with the table when he walks up?
Yes, and he steps up, he climbs up on a stool.
I try and give
now,
him a hand.
Now, he refuses, he slaps it out of the way.
I'm sorry.
He says, I don't need your help. Boy, he calls you.
God damn.
The blood mist has lifted, and the world lies at our feet. There are opportunities out there for trade, cooperation, for experiencing the world at large, and most importantly, for selling fine ale. And the 2 old guys at the other table go, aye, and raise their glasses. And he says,
Hey!
but
Raise the empty little cup.
There is a greedy bailiff who seeks to prevent this. The old lady Polmore. And the two old men at the other table go, ah! And they take drinks. Ah! And they stomp their feet and they bang on the table. And it's a little bit. They a little bit over.
loves this idea.
They a little bit overdo it, and he sort of slowly turns to them, and he's like, ah! Anyway. We journey downriver, we journey upriver to sell the finest ale in the realm, but she taxes our journeys so that it's not even worth the trips, even though she hasn't done a lick of work in her life. And I say that hag's number is up! And the two old guys go, hey! And then they take drinks.
You want us to kill her?
You want us to kill her?
He leans in close and he's like, keep your voices down. I wasn't going to say that, per se.
What the fuck are shouting?
No. We're not going to talk about killing in here, because we're civilized folk, right? And one of the two old guys goes, civilized! And the other one goes, civilized. The other guy's like, what?
Civilized. He falls out.
Can't even spell civilized, can you?
Starts chewing on my toenails again.
Stop chewing.
I gotta keep them short.
That's so gross.
He says, she's been sabotaging my business from the first day. I would love... well, we turn the tides. We turn the people against old Lady Polmore. We show them that she's bad for business, that she's bad for the town. And then he looks back and he's a little paranoid and leans in and he's like, a question though. You mentioned killing?
No.
That last resort.
Of course. We wouldn't want to be hasty. We turn the tides against her. But if is killing something you would consider doing though?
Yeah.
By what
It's
power is she the
It's a
tax
lot more
collector?
expensive than
I was going
just
to say that it's more cost effective to have us turn the town against her. For you, of course. We would hate for you to have to spend so much for an execution, because that's kind of...
However,
This is
it is a lot
outrageous.
fast.
None of us want to do this.
Just reach over and put my hand in the mouth.
No.
Yeah, committing murder. is
No.
something a dear
I
God would do.
did not propose any such thing. I would never propose any
Good.
such thing.
We wouldn't want to do
And
such a
besides,
thing.
if I did, it would cost me. Oh, I can't even.
So where would we start with this
60
campaigning?
60
Perhaps
silver.
we can
Do
talk-
I seem like the kind of guy that would want to be out 60 silver for such a task? I'm not
much
gonna
does
just.
she pack
I'm not
you?
just gonna throw away 60 silver for such a task. This is a ridiculous amount. And besides, I'm an upstanding and moral man, and the two guys back there are just getting over it, and they're just like, nah.
We saw the sign, no beard gobs. We get it.
Right.
100 silver.
Whoa.
It'll be done in less than a week.
What makes you think that she won't just be replaced with another tax collector?
Another 100 silver.
Hey,
Easy.
here's another idea.
This is all hypothetical. We
Right.
should instead work towards the campaigning we need to do to try and get her out of office.
Of
And
course.
if the people don't want someone who is heavy on taxation, the next person to come in will probably have less taxes, otherwise they'll share the same fate. That last part kind of stands for both the campaigning effort and the 100 silver effort. Either way, it is better if we try the campaigning portion, because it really sends a message to the people that they should stand up for their rights to not be taxed to death.
Who's gonna take her place?
Slam the table, Josh, and say this has nothing to do with what we're
Give it
doing
time.
here. We won't
We-
be drawn
we
into
need-
this.
We need money.
Says you.
We are broke.
Or as fuck.
We are
Yeah.
very broke.
I'm not good at no camping, and I'm definitely can't sneak around and kill somebody.
Ellis literally killed skeletons with a butter knife. That probably went a lot better. So okay, we're getting into semantics here. We're getting into. I said Velis.
He'll lean towards.
We're getting into semantics on the pronunciation.
All right.
He'll lean in
Yowen.
towards Vergello, and he's like, "You seem like a man who's good with words. I tell you what, if you can turn the town against that old hag, and knock her off her post, and convince them to let a proper business manager turn this town into a flourishing metropolis, I will award you each out of my coffers with 10 shining silver pieces." What say you to that?
Ian doesn't want to, and I'm no good at it.
And there's no need for bloodshed. There's no need for bloodshed. There's no need for anybody to do anything rash or irreversible. But if something were to happen to the old hag, you know, it would probably be for the better.
I'm happy with that. We will take the 10 silvers each, and of course, drinks would be on you the night should we succeed.
Of course, drinks all around, and the old men are like, drinks all around, and he's like, not for you.
Do you have a good starting location for us to a town square of sorts, or a
he says, unfortunately, most of the town is loyal to the village elder, Lady Palmore. Really, it's just on this side of the. Really, it's just on this side of the stream that people have any sense, which is why I try to keep this way myself. But
Explains a lot.
You know, it takes a lot for the people to abandon their traditions and come to their senses, and not everyone has vision for the future of what this place could be.
Export creates a thriving town. That's everybody knows that. And now that the blood mist is gone, this is a great way for everyone to thrive. To the blacksmith.
To the blacksmith. Of course, yes. Look forward to seeing you tonight. I'll have your room ready, and enjoy your stay in the Hollows, where everything is lovely. Stay away from the dead man's hand. That place has ale so bad it'll put you in the grave.
Is that it? What?
Well, at least I'll be able to come to my senses the next night and come here.
I've heard rumors that the ale there will actually kill you. I wouldn't recommend drinking it, and don't spend a dime on it to be sure. Have a lovely day. And he goes back behind the counter and goes back to cleaning dishes.
Does he struggle to get down from the stool as well?
He has to climb down, yeah, like it's a ladder, and then he hops it up on his back, waddles behind the counter so that all you see is the stool sort of floating behind the counter, and slams it down, climbs back on it, and he goes back to scrubbing.
Has anybody else ever seen a shaven dwarf?
One of the old men at the table across from you turns towards you and goes,
all I do is I say, like, no, and they're like, dwarves aren't allowed in this place. You saw the sign.
Yeah.
And I literally just look at him, like, kind of like nudge him, like, shut up.
The old guy winks and goes,
let's go ahead and go to the blacksmith. Let's see if we can get some prices on perhaps repairing some things and start with this campaign effort.
All right.
I'm going to jump down from the porch and be like,
do you think the blacksmith's a dwarf too?
Oh, probably.
Right. As we're walking, just gonna be like, not all of us are very good at talking, and we're making considerable less money.
Yeah, but not all of us are good at killing, and we do have other things to do. So at least we can try this.
Not only that, but not all of us are good at killing innocent people.
Yeah,
I think that I have more against killing people than you do against us talking.
We don't know if she's innocent or not. We know she
most
really
of the town likes her.
Yeah, most of the town like wrong people sometimes.
I don't necessarily think that we need to kill the old bag. It feels kind of tedious. I mean,
That was
Somebody in
honestly my
her
thought.
position would probably have guards.
Why
And they're going to
don't-
be a lot stronger than those skeletons are.
Not to
Besides,
mention
we got to
we'd have-
dig a grave up.
Exactly. We'd have to hide bodies. We can't bury her here. She'd show up the next night.
Oh, I didn't mean her grave.
Well, let's prioritize what we're here to do, so that if this Miss Polymore thing goes wrong, we don't make it more difficult for the real stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, we need to get
Yeah,
our stuff fixed, supply up, and dig up a body.
We don't need to dig up the body yet. Maybe we just talk to the ghost first?
How else are we going to get his freaky tattoo?
Well, we could ask the Phantom if he has the tattoo.
How's the ghost going to give you a tattoo?
Well, the ghost could give us the information if he has the tattoo.
Okay.
This whole thing's a headache.
Yeah, you're telling me. I didn't even
This
know
was-
what the word tattoo meant until 5 minutes ago.
This blacksmith is really far away.
Yeah, you're walking.
I
All right,
remember
so
seeing
Any of
as
us
far away
run
from
into a
the
ghost
tavern.
before? A ghost's new to us.
you've never seen a ghost.
We all seem real cool with this whole ghost thing.
Yeah, I think everybody in this town's just cracked. But I mean, most pink skins are, so.
To be
So
fair, I also didn't see 4 skeletons until just a few days ago.
I'm going to
So-
describe a couple of things that you walk past here. So this little
As we're
this little
arguing
pointed
in the streets.
this little pointed build. I'm using AN as the indicator of where you are. This little pointed building right here. At one end of the town square is a chapel. A pointed roof of painted tiles is built on top of a circle of wooden columns. On the columns are carved beautiful reliefs of birds. The stone floor of the tiny temple is covered with dried flowers, copper coins, crops, and animal bones. Then, on to the center of the village here. I'm just describing things of note that you see. I'm going to describe 2 things. I'm going to describe this tall building at the top of the staircase on the left. At the base of the hillock, at the far end of the square, stands an impressive longhouse with beautiful carvings hanging from the linings of the roof. In the high vaulted windows can be seen mosaics of multicolored glass. A wide staircase leads up to a twin gate with iron fittings depicting meandering plants. It's lovely. And the center of the square here, a stone well lies at the center of the square. The rope and the pulley are mounted on a beautifully carved lintel. The wall is surrounded by a low stone bench, worn down by many tired villagers who have availed themselves of it. A large bucket stands on the bench. It should have said a stone bench worn down by the butts of many ages, but the writers were just not that creative. Across the way, you see the blacksmith shop. You're also seeing this large building here. A large 2-story half-timbered building can be found at the south end of the square. Smoke is coming out of 3 chimneys on the steep thatched roof. Where the window shutters are open, a warm light shines out. It's daytime. That doesn't apply. Above the double door is a sign and a pair of red painted lanterns next to each other. The sign lets you know that you have reached the Dead Man's Hand Inn. The scent of grilled boar can be smelled all the way across the town square. So this large building right
Place
here.
smells a lot better than the super racist place.
So you have a small shrine, you have a very fancy house with stained glass windows, you have the Dead Man's Hand Inn, and across the way you have the blacksmith. As you're following the directions given to you by Yoim, the clanging sounds of smithing incessantly reverberate from a building at the north end of the square. Large sections of the building are open to the square. Through the smoke, you can make out a forge and a massive anvil. Newly wrought tools hang from the roof, and a muscular and scruffy-looking man is in there pounding away at what appears to be a pitchfork. You're in the town square. I'm going to move everybody over here. You've seen everything that I've described. You can all decide what you want to do.
Let's go to the blacksmith.
Go to the blacksmith.
All right.
Let's bother the blacksmith.
Okay.
Bother the blacksmith.
I mean, I'm gonna bother him. I'm not gonna lie to myself.
I think
Alright.
we're in the shady part of town over there.
Yeah, I would say most likely.
This whole town is shady.
Over there or over here?
No, over
there?
Yeah, we
On
in
the
the
other side
rich
there?
side of town now.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
came in through the back door.
The side that doesn't smell like cooking boar.
Yeah, but the smell of cooking boar is to cover up the smell of rich people spitting on poor people.
We could just murder some of the rich people and make a little money. That's all I'm saying.
What are we like, Dark Robin Hood?
Murder the rich. That's
Murder
it.
the
Like not even just literally just murder the rich.
Just,
not even give to the poor.
Just checking
We're
a couple
poor.
details. Okay.
Murder
The
the
first
rich.
time we do it, we are Robin Hood.
All right.
Murder the
Oh,
rich,
God.
take from the
We're
poor.
just not the rest of the time.
All right. You make your way over to the blacksmith. Can I get Hank in a secret chat for a second? Hello. There's big dogs behind the fence in the estate to the south of you. It's the large fenced-in area just to the left of the other gate into town. A bunch of big black dogs are going to run up and start barking, and you can try to play it off like it's all cool and like you're not scared of canines. But
Okay.
but they're gonna come up and start barking, and they might scare you a bit. They're gonna do I'm gonna roll some dice for a fear attack against you to see if you lose a point of wits.
Gotcha.
It's gonna be a mild fear attack, but if I don't roll any successes, you can ignore it and pretend nothing happened. If I do roll any successes, you can quietly take a point off your wits and figure out how to role play it off so as not to spoiler things to the group, but still show the
Okay.
viewers that you're startled.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Works.
I want to. Oh, well,
Alright.
never
Go away. Just kidding.
mind. We're in a secret
chat.
chat.
All right. A couple of you see this large fenced-in area to the south here. A couple of big black dogs run up to the fence and start bark at you, all up against the fence, just drooling and everything. And your goblin friend.
Startled me, a freaking stupid mangy hounds. Hey, can I stand on the other side of the group?
He shuffles
sure.
behind you. He's kind of hiding behind your legs and looking across town at the big black dogs. And he loses a point of wits to a fear attack from the dogs that only applies to him.
Can I shout at them and do an animal handling?
Yeah, you could try to get them to back off. Go ahead.
Josh, turn your camera on.
Oh,
But with this camera off, it looks like.
You don't want that. I don't know anything
Turn the
about
stream
this
off.
thing.
that's 2
I
successes.
had it muted.
Describe what you do, and the dogs will back off.
I just stare at them and say, "Hush, beasts!"
There you
I was
go.
gonna say, do that thing that what's his face did. The
Chris
dog
Pratt.
whisperer. I was thinking the dog whisperer.
They slowly slink backwards and disappear back somewhere into that
And
large estate.
then I grab Gromrock's head and bring him into my chest. Just, you're okay.
I will.
And then I do animal handling on him.
I will hug him.
All right. So you took a
I will
damage.
wrap my grimy goblin arms around his waist.
So you took a damage to your wits, but probably well worth
Yeah.
the experience point you're going to get for it later. No spoilers or anything. But you learned something about your goblin friend today. So anyway, you walk up to the blacksmith and
I lose a wit point. I'm afraid of blacksmiths.
And then I grab
I can't
him
give you an
and bring him
experience
to my
point for that,
chest.
but it's a good try. 1 sec, I'm getting messages from a bunch of people.
There's a lot going on in the chat this time.
Oh,
No.
he's just got other
got it.
friends,
Okay.
and we're
well,
not
No,
as
it's fine.
important.
It's fine.
It was
Even though we
Aimee
speak
messaging
No,
Josh.
one of them was Aimee, but it was a different one. All right.
One was Aimee. I closed the stream.
That wasn't what I toggled over for. It was other people. It was other people who aren't playing in this campaign, but are almost playing in this campaign. All right. So anyway,
The lead singer of Small Time Capone.
Oh, I love that band.
They're amazing.
plug time. Google it, people. The hotness. Okay, so
Lit by Small Time Capone, recently released.
Lips by Small Time Capone.
Lips.
We're all in the video. Okay, so clang, clang, clang of metal, and there's thick smoke, and you can make out a big, scruffy, muscular man there wearing heavy hide overalls and with big, hefty iron tools. You can hear children laughing and playing somewhere on the other side of this building, it sounds like, and it looks like a smithy attached to a house with a fenced-in yard behind. And you all approach from the front, and the guy's clanging, and then he glances and then does a double take back towards you. It fixates on the goblin a bit, who's trembling at the moment, and he goes, and he sets down his big hammer with a and he steps forward and says, "Hail, travelers."
Hail, we heard this was a fantastic place to get some metalwork done, some things repaired.
This would be the place. The name's Ness. What can I do for you?
I believe we have some armor and a dagger.
Can you
That
fix
needs
this?
some
And I'll start trying to pull my armor off over my head.
He starts getting naked. They're like, yes, that.
What kind of
And
armor?
then,
Is it studded leather?
Studded
All
leather.
right, he's gonna look at that
I'm
for
missing
1
like
second.
a point from it.
He's gonna look at it for 1 second and be like, "I'm no leatherer. You should speak to the gameskeeper. He's in that cabin over there." And he gestures to one of the other nearby houses. And then what was this other task?
Got a dagger.
Oh, I'll have that fixed up for you in minutes.
Fuck.
Hand it over. Hand it over.
It's like 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's like solid bit.
Yeah. If it's salvageable, I'll have it good for you in minutes. Come along.
If it's Yep.
You hand it over
I'll
to
do my
him.
little slappy goblin feet.
He'll
towards-
charge you a quarter of the value of a dagger, which is 5 copper. He'll check with you first. He's like, "You got a bit of coin?"
Yeah, I've got money.
All right. He sets aside the hot thing that he's currently working on, and he's like, and then he takes your dagger and takes it into the forge and starts heating it up and just casually working on it. And while he's banging away, he's like, "Where you come from, elf?"
Mistwall.
Mistwall. He takes a look and he's like, "No disrespect, but they have some shoddy daggers in Mistwall."
I completely agree. Do you see what the fuck happened to it in the middle of a fight? I've been using this shit butter knife.
So you didn't.
No offense.
That was my grandmother's.
So you didn't break it trying to pry something loose? What were you fighting?
Plant woman? Demon?
He doesn't ask any follow-up questions on that one. He's just gonna go bang, 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 and
She was an ugly bitch. But she married my friend with the butter knife. Again, no offense.
None taken.
he rolls
What a
a
loss.
bunch of dice, and he barely gets it fixed. He's like,
Jesus Christ.
yeah, he gets 1 success on 9 dice. He gets it banged out flat again, and he's like, "I have to say, elven steel, not the finest. You'd best buy dwarven if you have a choice, but that's just old Ness's opinion," and he hands it back to you.
Out of our cash.
He dips it in the water. It's steaming. It's perfectly straight. He strikes it over a whetstone a few times, gets it nice and sharpened up, and he's like, dagger of this quality, not really worth more than that. And he hands it back to you.
I'll put it in, I guess, my waistband.
Okay.
I'll pull out the butter knife, hand it back to you.
Thank you. I put it in my sheath for my butter knife.
Good luck stabbing more plant women.
They're
Where's
wild.
the durability on my weapon? Am I dumb? Oh, it's max.
The durability of your weapon,
Right?
it's whatever number of dice it says next to bonus, that's how many dice it gets. And every time it takes a damage, it reduces that by 1. And every success on a smithing roll adds 1 back. So it's the bonus value is basically how many dice it adds to your rolls and how many hit points the item has.
Can you do anything with this?
I was kind of hold the orcish scimitar up.
How much
As high
damage
as
has
I
it
can.
taken?
It has a +1 in the bonus, or in the BON, and then the max is 12.
Okay. Same as her, 5 coppers. I'll straighten it out for you, give it a nice sharpening. Where'd you get this? Who forged this?
I found it.
It's made from fine dwarven steel, but it's
And
adorned
I'll
with all
slap
sorts
5 coppers on the...
Alright, I won't ask anymore. Alright, he slams it down on the anvil and goes to make his crafting roll.
Does dwarven
Fixed.
steel seem any different from elven steel?
To you? No.
Josh, does the more successes he has, the more points he gets back?
Yeah, this
Or
restores
is it just like max?
restores 1 hit point to the item.
And how many hit points was it down?
The max says 12, but the BON says is it +1.
It's back to full.
So now it's 2. Huh?
What? Okay. we
The
gotta
max
back up.
is 12?
It's a scimitar. I don't know what the 12
I don't even
refers
know
to.
if it needs repair, to be honest with you. I might be reading it wrong.
It has 1 hit
Oh
point.
no.
It has 1 hit point, so it's either broken or not broken. And if it took a point of damage because of you rolling a skull on a gear die, it would be broken. I feel like that maybe happened at some point.
It didn't take a point of
didn't?
damage on it.
Okay.
No.
Then you don't need to pay him.
Okay.
He'll look it over and comment on it, but then he's like, it doesn't need any work. At least it's not worth my time, and he hands it back to you. He says, help yourself to the whetstone if you want to sharpen it up.
Okay.
Speaking of dwarfs, that Yarwin's a strange guy.
Yes, indeed. Cracked out of his head, that one. He's straight mad. Makes a fine ale, though.
The ale's fantastic.
Does the dead man's hand ale kill you?
Is that what Yawim told you?
Yeah.
I mean, for a man who you seem to have disdain for, to compliment his ale certainly says leagues about the opponent in town.
There's no denying the truth.
It does kill you.
Does Mrs.
No, there's no denying the truth
taxes,
that Yawim's ale is really good. Huh?
Does Mrs. Polymore's taxes hurt you as much as they hurt?
That's a double success.
Oh yeah.
Hot, hot, hot.
Hot, 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 hot.
I'm just a simple man trying to do my job. You think we'd get more visitors here if that ale was spread through the countryside?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
You really
I'm certainly
think
gonna return.
you really think it's that good?
Don't you?
It is pretty good.
Trust me, I've had the ale in both Mistwall and Lingmill. Nothing's as good as that shit.
You could
As
call
you can
it,
see, I
well
almost
traveled.
died on the way over here, and I still intend to make another trip back. It is absolutely worth it.
I gotta say, I don't drink that much on account I got a family to take care for, and there's not that much coin to go around to frivolous things like ale, but at this point, the door swings open, and a little girl comes running out, and she's like, Daddy, Daddy, sister took my bear, and then the sister runs out, she's like, Daddy, I didn't do it! And they're pulling each other's
made
hair
all the better
and
by
rolling
cutting
around
out.
on the floor of the smithy, and he turns to you and he's like, Perhaps I could use a little more ale. I would love for his business to flourish, but...
And just think...
Lady Palmore's very stubborn, and I don't really want to get involved in all that.
It only takes a town of voices. We will attempt to convince your fellow townsmen of this.
Perhaps we could start a
unfairness.
petition.
You're awfully interested in local affairs. What's your business in town, anyway? Other than coming here,
Well, right.
I'd venture to guess you didn't travel all this way just to fix a bent dagger.
Well, it was one of the
only
main
weapon.
things we stopped here.
And that fine ale certainly was added to the list. And a bath also.
You do need
we
one.
were just in search of someone. I already have one pinned up. Yawin said he would draw me one.
Looking for we were looking for someone.
Well, just be wary of that old Yawim. He's cracked out of his head.
Racist and weird?
Well, yes. You've met him. You've seen the signs. He's not right in the head, but...
A dwarf.
We can deal with not right in the head,
in front
as
of
I
him.
just... we can deal with not right in the head, and I just gesture towards the goblin.
Even though you don't like goblins, I like you.
Thank you. But I don't like you.
Where's the leather guy?
I don't trust you, and I don't like you. I will say he's a bit mad. Even the dwarves didn't want him around. That's what I've heard, anyway.
That makes a lot of sense.
Came from came from the Meramanian clan, and he did something to piss off his people, and came here to start a new life. And let's just say it's a good thing he has good ale, because
That's funny. He told us he was from here.
it's the only reason our community tolerates him at all.
Well, I believe we have other things to attend to. You said the leather worker was just this way?
Yeah, he'll gesture to the gamekeeper's cottage, which is
Does that guy also sell bows?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Well, we'll leave you to your smithing and your family affairs.
All right. You go on your merry way. Are you moving on to the gamekeeper's cavern?
Cavern?
Cabin?
You wanted to try and get your armor repaired, right, Hank?
I would like to try, yeah. I'm also gonna, as I'm leaving, just because I can tell that it's gonna drive this guy a little crazy, I'm gonna, drag my scimitar behind me, the tip, just dragging on the floor as I'm walking out.
Leaving a trail.
I mean,
After
it's
just
sharpening
sharpening
metal.
it on his
Probably take it.
whetstone.
Yeah, you sharpen it, and then you're just dragging it out. It's perfect. All right. Checking one or two things. All right. Got it. All right, you're headed over to the gamekeeper's cabin. Going around this way. And as you're walking, strolling along, and you feel almost in perfect unison. You hear rustling sounds, but you're not sure what direction they're coming from. And you're looking around, and one by one, you feel...
I'm gonna draw my dagger.
You draw your dagger. You feel something grab you by the ankles, all four of you around the same time. Clouds of dust burst up from your feet, and you feel something grab you by the ankles and start shaking your legs and pulling you down. Everybody make just a raw strength roll, no other stats involved, no skill involved,
Jeez.
to pull free of the things grabbing your ankles. You look down and see gnarled, bony, rotten hands bursting up out of the earth, grabbing you by the ankles. That's a fail, and a fail,
Oh, no.
and a fail. Oh, wait. That wasn't a
I mean,
roll.
it was a fail to roll it.
That was a fail and a
Right?
fail.
You can't. You have to just click the action. Y'all, you can't click roll. It doesn't
No.
work. You
I know.
Well, I clicked strength and
click it twice.
Fail,
set
fail,
my-
fail.
Click it twice.
Succeed.
Velas wins.
Velas, you pull your ankles free, sprint backwards, hop up on top of a barrel with your dagger drawn, and you're looking down at rotted undead hands reaching up out of the ground, and they slowly retract down into the dirt. But you see that they've grabbed the ankles of 3 of your friends, and you are now free of what's happening. The 3 of your friends who are still grabbed fail to pull free and are getting dragged down in the dirt, and then the dead hands shake them vigorously and then let go and sink down into the earth, doing a fear attack on all 3 of them that could shake up their wits. So I'm going to roll these. This first one is against Grunralk. I'm going to go in the order you rolled. Grunralk, you take no wits damage.
This time.
For Gello, you take no wits damage. Hey, and you take no wits damage. It shakes you all up a bit, but not enough to do damage to your wits score. You were just given a shakedown by the dead of the town, and and then you hear cackling and see the dust settling and the soil just sort of filling in little holes where the hands popped out of, leaving you all standing awkwardly in the street, looking around like, what the hell was that?
Bear.
Well, the undead here are a lot less frightening than the undead in the woods.
Perhaps it's because they didn't show their bony faces.
Maybe.
Brooms.
There's a lady standing in the street with 2 small children playing outside, and she is dressed like a commoner. She sees you walking towards the gamekeeper's cabin, and she says, "Hello. Are you travelers?
Good day.
Welcome to the Hollows."
Did you see the freaky hands too?
Did you cackle? Was that you?
No, that wasn't me. They,
Is she lying?
she says they like to frighten newcomers in the town. They don't do that to the children so much anymore, but you should still be careful because I've seen them do some terrible things to people who upset them.
Is it because we didn't say that thing about Emma and Lawsony?
It's not dark yet.
Yeah, that.
And it's also amnesty.
Well, they bother people all times of the day, but they don't like to come out fully until the nighttime. So always ring the bells.
What are you doing?
She asks you where you're looking for.
The honor thingy.
The game warden keeper.
Okay, yeah, she gestures toward the house.
Gamekeeper's cabin.
Yep.
He has a cavern nearby.
He has a cavern. All right, you make your way to the gamekeeper's cabin. All right. This place reeks. This is a tannery. So there's nasty hides tanning in the sun, which give off a horrible stench for a broad radius around here. This whole side of town smells bad. Beyond, you see an old, overgrown cemetery past this guy's backyard with lots of creepy, overgrown tomb entrances and gravestones and old carven obelisks and things that are sort of half sunken into the earth. They look pretty old. You're not sure how long they've been here, but they are not recent graves. This is a very old, overgrown graveyard on the far side of this guy's house. And the gamekeeper is here tightening some hides on a rack. And here's what he looks like. He ugly.
Mm-hmm.
He says,
And who's the one holding the knife?
I was about to say, who's the one behind him?
Uh-huh.
Dang it!
He's clearly a wolf. He says, "Hail, travelers."
Ale.
Hello.
We heard you could repair some studded leather armor for us?
Yes, indeed. I'll have a look.
Start trying to pull it over my
He also looks a bit uncomfortable about the goblin, but you all seem chill with him, so he's not going to ask too many questions. He's like, "All right, let's see it. He's like, "Oh yeah, this needs sewing up, and then this and that, and this and that." He will charge you a quarter of the cost of the armor to do a craft roll on it. That might be a steep cost.
Probably.
6 silver. That's gonna be steep.
6 silver is a quarter of the cost.
This is 1.5 silver, and he'll repair it for you. Well, how damaged is it? Has it lost 1 point or multiple points?
1 point.
It's only lost 1 point out of its how many?
Yeah. 3.
Okay. Well, charge less than that. We'll say 5 coppers for this. It's only mildly damaged.
Okay.
He'll stitch it up for you, and give it a patch for 5 coppers if you like.
Yes.
Okay.
What?
All right.
Okay.
As he is stitching things up, and I know you got to do a roll, Josh, I would just ask him, oh, wow. He did a lot better than Ness did.
Yeah, he did.
Have you had the ale over at the Three Skulls? Oh, it was fantastic.
I don't trust that dwarf farther than I can throw him. He's mad out of his gourd and he doesn't belong in this town. It'd be best if he just moved on somewhere else. And if you want to get mixed in with his lot, you better be prepared to face the consequences of your actions. Because he brings nothing but trouble.
He was talking about wanting to move on.
So you haven't tried the ale.
he said he couldn't move on because Mrs. Pollamore's taxes are too high.
You would say that.
He wanted to begin an export so he could migrate his business. But the taxes make it pretty difficult for him to even try and get out of here.
I'm sure you're suffering as much as he is.
This guy seems more in the other camp. Persuading him is going to come at a -2 penalty on the dice. You can attempt it if you like. He seems to want to shut down the subject, but if you'd like to push it and make a roll at a -2, you can.
Do I get a +1 because Joe was also talking?
What was Joe's contribution?
You weren't even listening to the man talk?
Say again.
He had said that it seemed like he was wanting to leave, but that the taxes were making it difficult for him to even get out of town.
Okay, so your argument is that you might see less of him if the taxes go down.
I can't believe you weren't listening, Josh.
It was a great argument.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
That's worth a +2.
Yeah, that's what
Go ahead and make a roll at a net -1.
Okay, net -1.
Yeah. On the skill dice. You got it. It's like, you really think he would move his headquarters elsewhere if he was able to expand his business?
I'm sure you've gotten the general feeling that he also doesn't want to be here.
Look, if it would mean we see less of that crazy dwarf, maybe I could try to talk Mrs. Polmore into being a bit more gentle with him, or convince
Every
the
voice
village
counts.
that the taxes should be maybe a bit more forgiving. I, for one, think the security of the town is paramount. But
yeah, and I think he. Oh, I can't even remember what the word is. He jeopardizes the security just by being here.
I agree. Anyway.
So what's the deal with the other side of the river? Why is everything over here so nice and everything over there so crazy shaved dwarf?
Because that dwarf runs that side of town. He's an upstart. He's a rebel. He's trying to raise a rabble in this town that'll overthrow Mrs. Polmore because he wants the whole town to serve his own selfish ends.
Sooner he's gone, the better.
If you put in a good word, I will do my utmost to continue to push him even further. I'll take him in our own town of Lingmel. I know people would love the ale there, and there's plenty of weird people there that would be happy to deal with the problem.
I'll think about it.
Before we leave, because, you said he was a crazy old man, just for clarity, if we were to go out after dark, we are to ring a bell 3 times? and say, I come in peace and amity in the hour of the dead. That wasn't bullshit, right? That was the correct thing to say.
Yeah, that's what we all say. Lest you want to be bothered by the dead.
Can you talk to the dead if you say that?
If you don't upset them. I don't bother with it. It's
Talk to
more
you?
trouble than it's worth. I pay them their due respects and I move on my merry way and I try to stay indoors after dark. Always. Especially when it comes to the graveyard. The old graveyard, and he gestures back behind his house. That's a place you don't want to go.
But it doesn't seem to me, after the encounter we just had walking over here, like 20 paces, that the dead seem very bothered by the daylight. I mean, it grabbed their legs.
Oh, they won't fully show themselves. They're just giving you a shakedown because you're new. You learn to ignore them. They'll be on their merry way as long as you don't do them any trouble or tread on their
Practical
graves.
joke.
How long has this town been this way?
What way?
How is this way?
It's unusual. We've never seen spirits or undead like this in a town.
Unusual? You mean
The dead don't
you mean
pop
where
out
you
of the
what's unusual? The dead don't pop up out of the ground?
No.
You mean
And they
to tell
definitely
me,
don't walk in the streets.
You mean to tell me where you come from? The dead just don't show themselves.
Stay dead.
They stay.
Well-
stay
No.
dead.
I think it's because there's too many bushes that walk around. There's not enough room.
Actually, where I come
Elven
from,
lands, I see.
the dead don't really die.
The dead don't.
Yeah,
really-
where she comes from, their arts and crafts project.
You're one of the true elves, aren't you?
I am, but even so, for the dead to just walk around, that's not common.
Well, it's what I've always known. This town
Any tales
exists.
of it?
Go ahead.
Any tales of it happening before the blood mist?
Well, I think this town was built shortly before the age of the Blood Mist, and that it was actually built by people that were fleeing the Blood Mist as it was moving over the land. They came here, or so the stories say, to hide among the tombs to escape the mist, and they learned that it was safe here and that the mist wouldn't come within the cemetery walls. And slowly they built out the cottages and the temples, and for generations we've been building this town into the lovely village that you see before you. But the graveyard goes back to the Elder Wars, I believe.
You're telling me that the Blood Mist was afraid of the graveyard?
Seems that way. I've never seen it creep over the walls, even in the ages when it engulfed these lands. It would stop well before reaching the edges of the graveyard. This place is haunted by the spirits of many soldiers who fought in the Elder Wars on both sides.
Such great spirits probably protected the town.
It seems that way. And maybe it's for that reason that the villagers respect them and that they don't pay us any mind. We treat them with respect, they treat us with respect, and we're all safe from the mists. Although it seems now the mists have receded and the world is really a new place. I can't speak much to that. Can't say it's really better since all these foreigners started walking among us. No offense be to your party in particular, but we had a lovely, peaceful life here before everything changed.
No offense taken. I can understand having your world suddenly expand. All the more so that speaking with the elders to get Yawin out of here.
I'm all for anything
When was
that'll
the
convince
last
him to
time?
leave.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. When was the last time that you all saw goblins? Because y'all don't seem to like me very much.
We've seen goblins a time or two. They've tried to raid the village. They've come in at night and pillaged places, stolen toys from the children.
So the goblins come in during the night, but the blood mist stayed away?
Well, the goblins didn't come in much before the blood mist parted, but in recent years, yes, they've been... Those petty little green raiders have come in here and caused all manner of trouble and rabble. That's why we've got the watch rotation now.
It just doesn't make sense.
Shoot them right where they stand before they reach the walls. That's what I say.
I don't need to be shot.
Yeah, well, I trust your friends to keep an eye on you, so that won't be necessary. Am I right?
Speaking of shot, how much do you sell bows for?
He looks. It's standard prices, so it's gonna be.
Out of character, what is the gamekeeper's name? I assume you said it while I was AFK.
Vike, Vike. That's what you were told by the blacksmith. I don't know if anybody's used the name. Short bow will run you 6 silver. Long bow will run you 12 silver. Crossbow's more than that, but he doesn't have any of those.
You need money? You got it.
We all need money. I have 2 silver.
You could always assassinate people for a dwarf, and then you're all taken care of. Easy peasy.
I mean, I could.
Go
Very easily.
Go do a little. Do a little cold-blooded murder. Go do a little bit of grave robbing. You know. There's money everywhere. You just gotta endanger the campaign to get it.
Listen, let me pull up my catchphrase. Gotta scroll down. I have it saved.
Let's say it take.
This game has no alignment. This is the place to make sketchy decisions and decide what you stand for.
And lose all your empathy.
That does
Fine,
happen.
I got 5.
Other people just need to stop owning things I want. Also, I said I was gonna leave my mark on this world. It's not my fault you didn't know that mark was left in blood.
You can't have 2 catchphrases. Pick one.
No, I have both, and you'll deal with it.
Lame.
How many catchphrases
Alright.
do you have, Bill?
0, because I'm not lame.
Catchphrases are great.
Could you make us a deal on the bow? Cause you like me.
I can guarantee you, if the better the deal, the faster he will leave. I can guarantee that.
If you're looking for work, go see Mrs. Polmore. She's the keeper of the treasury. She decides how the taxes are dispersed, and if you can do something for the betterment of the town, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to compensate you. She lives in that nice house right over there with the stained glass at the top of the staircase. The Elder's Cottage.
The big one? The really nice one?
Oh, yeah. That one with all the cobwebs and the stained glass windows and everything? Yeah, right?
I think I know where the taxes are going.
Yeah. Grunrock, how much money do you need?
I don't. Well, we'll talk later. Thank you, Mr. Hunter Guy.
Thank you, Sir Vike. We are on our way out.
He's keeping a close eye on the goblin.
I do actually have one more question.
I'm
sorry. I should have asked this earlier. Have you ever seen a guy with yellow eyes that, like, hunts in the woods? Has he come by to sell any hides or anything?
He gets very serious very quickly.
I'm gonna watch very intently on his face.
You should beware of anybody with yellow eyes. Because...
Why?
There's one who walks these lands with eyes like the color of the rising sun. And he is a trickster. Some say he's a god, others say he's a demon. But he travels the lands, and he meddles in its affairs. And his name is whispered on the winds, and he is known only as Marigal. And you would do well to steer clear of him, for he's as likely to help you as to slay you where you stand. I've met his children who wander the land, and they even say to steer clear of their father. The
Do
one...
his children also have yellow eyes?
Yes, indeed they do. His children have eyes just like his, and they say he can take many forms, and the only way to know him is by those yellow eyes. And they say, some say, he's a servant of the Dark Lord, The Dark One who rules over these lands, who sent the demons and the blood mist, whose name is Zyterra. But we do not speak of him, so I will say no more. But you should be wary of this Marigal, for he is a servant of dark forces and not to be trusted. That is as much as I've heard.
Does he go by other names, like Dunern?
Dunern? That's not a name that I've heard.
That's what I got in my notes.
I've never heard this name.
Out of character, let's be honest. Eyes that look like the rising sun sound gorgeous.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like,
10 out of 10.
I was
Especially on,
imagining like
grizzled mountain man face.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was imagining like urine
heart
yellow,
throb.
and Josh said like eyes like the rising sun. I'm like, hold on.
Aragorn with like gorgeous glowing eyes.
Total heart
All right,
throb.
where are we going next?
Well, thanks for answering my last question. If I see him, I will not talk to him.
You
So-
promise.
He's nothing to say
I'm
to
not
you.
talking to you.
This guy seems thoroughly suspicious of goblins.
Dick. It's like walking out.
Big slappy goblin feet.
So, do we want to talk to the elder lady?
I have an idea.
Oh no.
Do we start talking about this idea
Best answer.
as we're walking away from Vike?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it in the building.
Go find a quiet spot in the corner of town. You want to go stand
Yeah.
near the graveyard while you talk?
No.
I tried. All right.
Wait a little.
Go out into the town square and sit around the well.
No.
So,
Go.
So,
we're not going-
All right, you tell me
Tells
where you
us
go
to.
because all my ideas are bad.
it's not.
Grunralph
I'm
won't.
fine with the well.
Okay, you don't want to go near the graveyard. Grunralph won't let you go near the dogs. The well is off limits, so maybe you're going all the way back to the tavern. I don't know. You tell me
Let's
where
just
you're
go-
going.
Let's go to Lingmel. Let's go to Lingmel. We'll talk there.
All right. Let's get a
Let's
couple of
just-
sessions lined up and we'll get there.
Let's just. I say let's just kind of like slowly move towards her house and talk while we're moving.
Yeah. In hushed tones.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
All right.
Grandma,
So-
do you want to explain why you didn't want to buy the bow?
Oh yeah, I'm broke. Anyway, the my idea. So everybody wants the crazy shaved dwarf out of town, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
So-
this lady has access to the treasury, right?
Yes.
So what if we convince her to lower the taxes ourselves and talk to him and say the only way that she's going to lower taxes is if he moves out of town to run his business. So we get rid of him. He cuts us some money because he can open his business. Maybe we can talk her into cutting us some money for getting rid of the freak.
I do think we need to talk to her. We don't know Yawin's finances and his ability to completely uproot his life in brewery to move to another town. Though he might be willing to completely do so.
If he's
He
willing
just-
to crank 50 silver for us to lower the taxes, he's got to have some money.
Yeah, but 50 silver is not the cost of a new building, brewery equipment, barrels, staff. I mean, the travel alone, I imagine it would take time. But we could perhaps convince her to lower the taxes and have him save up to leave town. I'm sure he would be just as willing to go to a new town where he is better accepted.
There may be a way to double dip here. That's what I'm getting at.
I agree. We should talk to her, see what we can do.
Even more money if we would just saying it's an option.
No,
On the table.
I don't want to have to leave town in one day because your inclinations would have the
victim reappear the next night.
So
barrier here. Grunrock, how much money do you have?
4 silver, I think, and a pebble and a hairball.
Cool. Don't want the pebble, don't want the hairball. We could use the bow for hunting, yes?
I mean, I can't. The bow's probably as tall as I am.
The short bow?
You guys call us short all the time.
I think I saw
I'm
one of the
tall for a
children.
goblin.
I said short bow, Grunrock.
Oh, I mean,
I think we can always try and earn money first, and then it's not like we're hunting right now.
you want the money? You can have the money. Just give me the hairball back.
Don't want your money yet. I don't want your hairball.
Let's
She
go talk to
sounded
the
on
lady.
fence about the hairball.
She did seem on the fence. It's a nice hairball.
It is a good hairball.
You arrive at the
start
base
walking
of the
upstairs.
hill.
Block.
All right, one sec.
Joe gets me.
Mm-hmm.
At the base of the hillock, at the far end of the square, stands an impressive longhouse with beautiful carvings hanging from the lining of the roof. In the high vaulted windows can be seen mosaics of multicolored glass. A wide staircase leads up to a twin gate with iron fittings depicting meandering planks. A young woman with dark hair slowly opens the door. Hello? What
Is
can...
she hot?
She's pretty,
Oh.
and she's young, and she is wearing commoner's clothes, and she's
Ew.
quite dirty, and she's holding a feather duster
Hey,
in her hand, and she says, "What can I help you with?"
Hello.
We're here to see the elder.
She half closes the door, and she's peering through a little crack. She's like,
I push
"Goblins at our
Grunrock
doorstep."
behind me. Get behind me.
You wish to
He's
see?
just
What's the matter of your business?
we wish to speak with her about finances. We are looking for work.
I see. One moment. She closes the door, disappears inside. You have an opportunity to talk for a minute.
So she has people who work for her. This lady seems awfully crooked. And
Yeah, she's a politician. That's
Her-
implied, Amy. You don't have to try and sell us on it.
She opens the
Run
door.
wrong. Stop trying to talk to people.
Hello.
Grunrock, stop trying to talk to people.
You're just jealous because I'm handsome.
Hello.
Did she open the door on that?
Yeah, she did.
Please
That was
tell
the
me
first thing she heard when she
does.
opened the door. She's still holding her feather duster in a sort of defensive way, and she says, "Could the goblin perhaps place his sword at the steps before coming in?"
Can I just
Nope,
hold it so it
But you
doesn't
can
go-
hold on to it till we're done.
Oh, she recoils a little bit, and then she slowly reaches out and grabs. It's really heavy, and it like, as she's like, "Oh, thank you."
Don't lose it. I need it back.
Yes.
Gotta kill somebody with it.
We are honored to be visited by pure-blooded elven kind, my lady. What is your name?
I'm Velas.
It is an honor. We've never had an elf in this household before. Please,
Boy, are you in for a surprise.
please come on in. I've heard wondrous tales of the elves, and your name is, sir? She turns to the minstrel.
I'm Vergello. It's very nice to make your acquaintance,
Thank you.
madam.
And you?
Ian, and then I look for something to start scraping my boots on.
Yeah, you all are filthy still. Vergello's still got blood all over it. Both of you have blood all over you, and Vergello still has mud in his hair, just caked in.
We were by a river. We probably rinsed off all
There's
this.
probably a bug comes crawling down his forehead in the middle of the conversation. All right, she invites you inside. There is a crackling fireplace. There are no other light sources. The colored light is trickling in from the windows, It's getting into the late afternoon, early evening now. So there's a little colored light trickling in through the stained glass windows, and she has a crackling fire. And you see an older lady. I have some art for her. Here is. There you go. She is sitting in a rocking chair next to the fire, and she's leaning forwards and glaring at all of you as you approach. She says, come in, wipe off your feet. Don't track it all over.
Already done.
Of course.
Ah, what's...
If she does the reading.
Have a seat. Pull up some chairs, Dahlia. And the young lady comes over and pulls up a couple of chairs, seats them in a semicircular formation in front of the fire. And she's like, well, if you have business, let's get on with it. Where you come from?
Thank you. Lingmel. We traveled a great distance and
Lingmel.
some particular hardships. Yes.
They call it Greenstop, right? Is that the place?
Is that the place, Josh?
Yeah. That's its nickname.
Yes.
When it was a trading post.
That's our home.
My great-great-grandmother used to be friends with some traders that would travel to Greenstop. Glad to hear it's still standing after all these generations. I tell you what. You pull up a seat and you tell old Mrs. Polmore what your problems are, and I'll see if I can take care of them. I hope you've enjoyed your time in the Hollows.
Oh, it's been lovely so far. Our first stop was some delicious ale. We
She says, Dahlia!
met your smith.
Dahlia! Grab a cloth and wipe off that goblin's filthy hands. He's absolutely disgusting. She says, yes, yes, Lady Polmore, and she walks over with a warm cloth and starts just like scrubbing your fingernails.
I can do it myself.
I don't trust him. Do it yourself, Dahlia. She's like, she leads out. She's like, I'm very sorry, Master Goblin. Perhaps I should. Would you like to wash your fingernails?
It's okay.
Yeah, I have a tub of warm water. Perhaps you would like to dip your hands.
I'll dip my hands and then dunk my feet in it.
You're splashing around in bubbles while everything else is going on. So meanwhile, she'll turn to her Vergello.
Free bath.
Yeah, free bath.
Hey.
It is a free bath. She's scrubbing you down in a tub. She's basically giving you a
I get in line.
The goblin is taking a sponge bath while everybody else is sitting in chairs having a serious conversation. He's getting a sponge bath from a lovely young maid.
She is terrified of my existence.
Her hands are shaking, but you're watching layers of dirt come off that you just didn't even know were there. The water is turning dark.
I never realized you were that shade of green.
Actually, a very rich.
He's gonna look vibrant after this. Anyway, so the old lady turns to Vergello. She says, "So, what business have you in the Hollows?" Sorry,
We have.
What business have you in the Hollows?
We have a few things. One of them was acquiring funds. We were given a task by one of the least popular people in town. I'm sure you can guess who I'm speaking of.
Full sending. I appreciate it.
Perhaps you need to be more specific.
Well, it's good to know that there are a few bad apples in the bunch, but it's...
I didn't say that!
Oh, my apologies. The gentleman Yawen is the man I'm speaking of. Yes, that seems to be the standard reaction. After speaking with your smith and your gameskeeper, both seemed keen on him honestly gathering as much money as possible to get out of here and not be here anymore. Your gameskeeper said we should speak with you on maybe making things lighter on him so he can get that money to perhaps go to Lingmel. I know plenty of people there who would love to have his ale and could bear his presence. I mean, we accept gentlemen like this one here who's taking a bath.
You came here to ask for tax cuts for freebooters?
We came here to request a tax forgiveness on someone who everyone, from my understanding, would like to see leave, but can't do so until he has the funds.
Tell me this, which would be better? That I cut him our village funds so that his little business can prosper and he can be on his merry way, celebrating in the countryside and telling everyone what a terrible place the Hollows is, or we keep this much simpler, and you simply take care of his business for me, and you are handsomely rewarded out of our village coffers, and he flees for the countryside when he realizes that this place has no need of his kind.
Well, unfortunately, we aren't tavern keepers ourselves, and I don't think I know anything about brewing ale to take care of his business from the start. But maybe you could bring in more people and more money by having him exporting ale. I mean, I'm certainly coming back purely for his ale alone so far. The hospitality has been great, but that ale has been second to none. And the other people in Lingmel and along the river would find their way here, bringing in more money to the smith and
the ale at the dead man's hand is perfectly good.
They said it kills people.
And besides, ale is for drunkards and layabouts. Why should I subsidize the industry of the lazy?
Because drunkards and layabouts from other towns only bring in money.
Huh?
They don't take up anything. They simply come in, spend money, can't leave town, but can afford just enough to buy that next drink. And they'll spend more money. They might even go over to the competitor of Yawin's and spend money there. And then, of course, their weapons and tools will break from the work they have to take from you, so they'll have to go to the blacksmith and spend money there. Any leather armor, shoes.
I want more green-skinned, muddy-booted foreigners marching about my village, drinking that blasted dwarf's nasty ale, and dragging down this upstanding village with their filth and their strange ways. No, this village was better off before the blood mist lifted, and it will stand to time indefinite, a fortress against the filthy outside world. Now, if you do not have any real proposals for the well-being of these fine people who have well-established traditions and lifestyles, then I propose you move on your merry way and be on with it, because I'll not have you marching about in the sacred halls of my great-great-grandparents, defiling the floors with goblin mud. And she points at the greenskin who's standing there half sponged off. And her servant is going, just holding a dripping sponge.
Actually, the mud came from the woods outside your village.
I just grandiosely bow and I say, my humble apologies. I was under the impression that you valued gold. That was my mistake, thinking that further income to you and the great people out here was your intent.
I value peace and hard work. I value those who lift themselves up by their bootstraps, and I don't value layabout, exiled dwarves with mental problems and fanciful travelers who want to defile our village with their strange customs. No. No. This place was peaceful for many years, and I will keep it that way if it kills me. Now, if you please, unless you are willing to serve the well-being of this village and help me run that filthy dwarf outside of town, I suggest you be on your merry way.
Tell you for certain, Miss Ballamore, I'm very interested in the well-being of this village and what is best for the people.
Ma'am, I don't think you understand the gravity of the situation here. Your life is quite literally on the line, and the wrong decision from your thick-skulled brain
Can you get my back?
would only further detriment you and the rest of the town. And I would recommend you choosing the wiser choice, something I doubt you've done in
Is that
a very long
a
time.
threat upon this peaceful town?
Not on
Of course
the town.
it isn't. I would never threaten this town.
That is good, because this town is under the protection of the Rust Brothers, and if anything should befall me, or Sturkis, or any of the other loyal rulers of this place, I assure you that 200 Iron Guard would descend upon this village in a fortnight, seeking vengeance for those who were wronged. And if you do not wish that upon yourself, I suggest be on your merry way.
How often do the Rust Brothers check in with you?
Josh, before you answer, can I was trying to insult her with sharp tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try and do
Yeah, go ahead. Make your roll. You've said more than enough to make the roll.
it's just a manipulate roll,
Yeah.
and I guess
The fact that our moral compass is like, please kill her.
She mentioned someone else in the town.
Sturgis.
Who was that?
We'll
Another
kill him
leader?
later.
Sorry, who?
Sturgis. We haven't
Or
met him
something
yet.
like that.
Sargis?
Can you say the name again, Josh?
You did 2 damage to her empathy value. Please hold.
yeah. Do I need to tell you I want to push it before you tell me if she goes nuts?
Type it to me.
She
Aimee,
didn't break.
'cause I don't understand.
She came very close. All right, you did 2 damage to her empathy. So this lady, after your insults, is visibly trembling, and she looks like she's going to lose her cool and do something irrational, but it's not quite enough to do it. And she asks Dahlia to see you to the door and says, I'll have no further dealings with these outsiders. And Dahlia, her maid, is like, please come with me. Come with me.
Does she at least give Grumrock a towel? Or does he have to walk out wet?
He
Look
is
at his
dripping
clothes.
across the floor. You were saying what, Aimee?
How can I like inside check Dahlia to see like how comfortable she is
Sure.
with Miss Palmer?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like,
If you get a
she's
success, I'll
being-
give you a roll read on her. No
Okay,
modifiers.
Is it actually called Insight in this game?
it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I'm trying to come up with any other way I could yell at this lady and insult her to push her over the edge.
You get that Dahlia is uncomfortable with the entire situation. You watch her throughout this conversation. You get that she's loyal to Mrs. Polmore and maybe fears her a little bit. And that she mostly wants to avoid conflict because she's uncomfortable with the entire situation.
It's all right. Did she answer my question before she told us to get out about how often the Rust Brothers come? Because I want an answer for that before I leave.
Okay. She says something vague to the tune of, Sturkis takes care of us. He takes care of all the necessary duties. And he is under the protection and the watchful eye of the Iron Guard. And that if anything should befall him or her, there would be hell to pay. And Dahlia leads you to the door. And Mrs. Polmore is still rocking her chair aggressively and staring into the fire and glaring and lights up a pipe.
I mean, I'd still, like, on our way out, still try and say stuff like, oh, perhaps you could pay me to lick your boot. Or just, like, any kind of insult on my way out in an attempt to push her over the edge would be my trial.
You are going to exit the scene with her at 1 empathy. she's very close to cracking, and you could tell she was very close to cracking. You can tell if you had another crack at this lady and rolled a little better, you could probably cause her to break and do something embarrassing. And that tells you maybe if you could get her in a public place and get a good roll, you can embarrass her in front of the town. You saw her breaking point, and it was an inch past where you pushed her to. And she was
trying not to
riled
murder her.
up.
I'm trying.
You're all cast out
get-
into the village square. It is now, the sky is orange, and it is.
Can I
nightfall.
have my sword
It's
back?
getting close to nightfall. Oh yeah, Dahlia's going to. Here, Master
Thank
Goblin.
you. You're a dear. I appreciate you.
She leans down and gives you a kiss on your forehead.
Aw.
She says, "Peace
If
be with you,
see
Master
us
Goblin."
coming again, can you come closer?
Yes.
Oh no.
Yes.
If you see us coming again, do me a favor and don't be here.
Oh.
She looks a little unsettled. She goes, "Dearie me," and she closes the door. Ka-jonk. You're all standing out in the town square. It's evening, so whatever your next thing is, if you decide to do another thing today, the sun will set during it. So it's time to start looking towards the end of the day here. I'm gonna AFK for a sec while you all discuss what you want to do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get
I
a
need
drink
to go
and
AFK for a minute.
yeah.
or
Do we
two.
want to take like a 5-minute pause?
Yeah, that would be good.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, let's take a 5-minute pause and then we'll resume. If you guys get back before me, you can discuss what you want to do.
You don't want to kill this person, Bill?
I'm not against killing her. If she just dies, it creates more problems. If we publicly cause her to create a scene and she ends up attacking us and we defend ourselves, it's a better situation. If there's just a dead body, it's a problem. It was one of the things whenever I'd asked, this is completely like metagame. It's not really metagaming, but it's telling you like rules wise my thinking. I had asked Josh about the sharp tongue thing, of like when is it useful kind of deal, because I was not really sure. But the whole thing is if we push someone to their breaking point of empathy, they'll go against what logically would make sense for them to do, even at their own detriment. So if we publicly cause her to make a scene to where the whole town becomes against her for whatever reason, or she attacks us and it's obvious that like, oh yeah, it's like she attacked them and they defended themselves, it pulls the spotlight off the town. We still will have eyes on us, but the eyes won't be like, oh yeah, 4 people came into town, one of the elders died, and then they hung out for a little bit, did some stuff and left. Like her dying would still create a problem if she just up and dies.
Yeah.
We've been asking about her. We've been talking to Yalwyn. Like, everyone knows we've been talking to Yalwyn. We have a goblin with us. Like,
I'm pretty sure I just said my name. I definitely said where I was from to this person. I've not withheld my name to other people. If it gets back to the Rust brothers, that's not good for me.
right. I mean, I'm completely fine with her dying. I zero issues with that. But if she just up and dies, that would be worse than us ideally putting more on it. So if we could get her in the middle of town or something.
Do you think she ever leaves this house?
I'm sure she does. Josh, when's Sunday? This mean old lady looks like she goes to church.
She definitely goes to church.
Yeah, she's up there sitting in the amen pew like she's, you know,
front row.
Yeah.
Pastor.
What's that song? Mrs. Bertha Better Than You? Like that's her name.
Yeah. God, I want to kill this bitch so bad.
I want to embarrass her in her Sunday best. That's what I want to do.
I'm gonna go get a snack. I'll be right back.
Are we calling it at 9:30? What's our stopping time again? Okay. Perfect. I'm hungry, so I am. I actually really like it. I feel kind of useful. I'm tired of talking, honestly. Yeah, it's definitely different, and it's been nice to. Honestly, I like just being able to make manipulation rolls and succeed at stuff rather than making survivor rolls to find food. I'm saving my. I need one more experience point. I'm saving to get rank 3 for what's it called? Path of the Hymn for my minstrel. That third rank lets me give other players my willpower points.
What?
I can't use my my half elf ability to create an extra one to do it. The next rank. Yeah, yeah. Well, my other thought too was I kind of wanted to push that roll a second ago because I was like, I'll get 2 empathy. Sorry, 2 willpower. I'll just lose 2 empathy just so I could get the extra willpower. Because my thought is like if I can get these willpower points out of combat and then in combat give them to my friends, that way Hank doesn't have to like push a strength check and make himself weaker to get a willpower point. I can just be like, "Hey, buddy, you remember that time I told that mean old lady that she's got a thick skull? Here's
Yeah,
a
that was
willpower. Here's a willpower point. Go ahead and do that crazy ability you have."
Okay, ignoring armor in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that's probably the best thing too. I kind of want to read what the 3 ranks are for all the other ones.
I think I'm coming up on being able to spend some experience. I probably could have already, but I want to make it worth it.
You haven't spent any, right? How much do you have?
10.
Oh yeah. The most expensive thing to purchase is skills.
On stream, I'm being told. Sorry about that. Stream?
Am I muted on stream?
No, I muted myself and didn't unmute. Sorry about that. We're back from our break. I was just recapping that session one was mostly traveling to an adventure site and exploring it. Session 2 was all brutal wilderness survival, random encounters, traveling through dark forests and trying not to starve to death. And then session 3 is in the town. I'm just feeling like this is going to be a long campaign because there's a lot of stuff going on and a lot of stuff to do. It's all been interesting.
I'm liking it though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
Cool.
That's all right.
We're back. I'm sorry I was muted, so you all missed out on 2 minutes of my priceless musings. But let's go. We've got about half an hour left of things. So let's roll. You have just walked out of Mrs. Palmore, the village elder's cottage, mansion,
And I
whatever
warned
you
the
want to call
maid
it.
to not be there.
You warned the
Yeah,
maid that
Grunrock.
shit's gonna go down, and she looked a little shook. And you
Please don't broadcast to people assassination attempts. That kind of defeats the purpose. I understand that we all really, 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 really want this just awful, awful person to cease to exist. I think our best bet would be to publicly push her over the edge. If we can get her at a time when she's outside and outdoors amongst the town, I think I could just nudge her to where she overreacts, possibly attacks us, and then from there we can respond. But if she just ends up dying, we're suspects number 1.
Maybe we could win the town over with Gramrock's charm and then make her scold him publicly and turn the townspeople against her that way.
They're not gonna go for me. I'm obviously public enemy number 2 here.
I think
my whole point is that lady was nice, and I don't want the maid to die.
That's fine. You could have just said, "Please be careful." I understand it was the wording. Josh, is there anything going on around us while you rolled a d6?
No, nothing. Everything's totally normal.
Aimee, I thought I saw you say something, but I didn't hear anything. Are you muted?
Am I?
Oh
No.
Okay, sorry.
Listen. I want to kill the old bitch. I want to plunge my dagger into her heart. But
Obviously, all of this is in hushed tones.
knowing the Russ brothers check-in complicates things. Not
And
only
there's
are-
another person involved.
Yes. I forgot his name in the 5 minutes we were gone.
Yeah,
Stanley.
Sturgis?
Sturgis?
Stanley.
Sturgis? How do you spell it, Josh?
Oh, I wrote it down. Sturgis.
Sturgis.
Ha, keeping notes.
I think you wrote it
Too,
down
and
wrong.
I guessed.
Sturgis checking in with the Russ brothers. The Russ brothers are not good in general. The Russ brothers and I...
I get that you probably have some sort of complicated, very secretive past, but you've also been tailing them, so you're gonna have to put, your whole identity at risk if you don't want to have it, come to light. You probably shouldn't be on the tail.
But there are things that I want that they have.
Then
I'm
you're
aware
gonna
it's
have to put your
very-
identity at risk.
It's a very intense game of cat and mouse, and that's not missed on me. All of this to say, Vergello, I think that we should go with your plan first, despite the fact that it's not going to make us as much money.
I'm pretty sure Yalwin will still pay up.
Yeah, 40 silver versus 100.
No, it was 40 silver to convince the people and her. It was 100 silver to permanently convince her.
Yeah,
Well-
but the implication was not that she'd be kicked out of town.
We have no idea what's going to happen.
Fingers
mean-
crossed they murder her.
We just gotta catch
Are we
her
back at-
outside.
Are we back at Yalwin's?
Yeah. You make your way back to Yawin's Tavern?
I figured we
heard
were
it.
walking back because you said it was evening time,
Yep.
so I figured we were
Yep,
walking
if you're
back
walking
there.
back, then
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vergello still needs his
All right.
bath.
I
there's
do.
I got mine.
there is peaceful music coming from inside of the tavern, and
With the tuba.
do we want the tuba music back? Yeah, we'll play the weird music again. All right, so you're back to the
Like the Helm's Deep band.
Three Skulls Tavern. There are now two minstrels playing. One of them playing a horn of some kind, and there's now a whopping 6 patrons in here. Closer to nightfall. There's somebody dancing on a table singing a bar song. You're the third party to a Lord of the Rings plot. There's a short person dancing on a table and you don't know what the deal is. You're like, whatever. And you walk in and there is Yawin standing behind the counter, just as alert as he was in the middle of the afternoon, sliding drinks down the counter. People going, hey! And it's a party. It's a party. And he's like, welcome back! And you think maybe Yawin is a little tipsy. He's got his own extra large mug of ale, halfway empty, sitting there on the bar. He's drinking while serving. And
I pull aside Bill, I can't remember what your
Vergello.
character's name is.
Vergello.
Yellow. What if we just tell him we took care of her?
It's not gonna work. I'm gonna go take my bath. Are you gonna join me or use the Ripper?
He seems tipsy. I mean, what's he gonna do?
Ladies
Go
and
to the
gentlemen,
gods.
you
and
finally
say,
found a
"Moral
safe
compass."
village. And you're going to piss off people there so that you can't sleep there. That's a great
You
idea.
didn't say anything when people wanted to murder her, but when I say that we want to lie to get money, suddenly Josh pipes up.
I'm staying out of
See,
it.
the-
You all do whatever you
Josh
want.
sees the problem that
Yeah.
we lie to get money once. And then he's like, oh, you guys didn't solve my problem. Now I'm going to be a problem for you.
What? He's gonna hire the next travelers that come into town?
I'm like I said, I'm gonna go take my bath. You can join me or not.
I'll join.
And I go.
All right.
Nope, I join you. And I take a bath.
You've got a hot bath. And you can go one after the other, and the water will be so dirty.
No, me and I take a bath together.
I will say,
it's only natural.
As a reminder, since the last time he bathed, Vergello got lice and used mud in his hair to get the lice out, and he's also been.
I thought Aiden helped me with that.
He's been wounded in the neck, and so
I think
got blood all over.
I think both of them, because Aiden also died.
Well, it's a bonding
Aiden got
experience.
slashed across the torso. Yeah, you're both sopping out your mud and blood and bugs, and it's nasty. It's nasty. But yeah,
he washes my gut wound.
There's minstrels playing. You go upstairs to your private room where you have a hot bath drawn. Someone's been bringing up buckets of hot water and pouring them into it, and it's lovely. But you'll have to go one after the other, and then what's everybody doing? Are we just
we take a bath at the same time?
You bathe together? Okay, that seems right. Do you bathe together?
Yes.
You're the only one with issues about this job.
I'm in the common room showing off my freshly clean self.
Listen, I don't have issues with this. However,
that's what someone that has issues with it would say.
I gotta speak.
No. You're all getting me wrong. Vergello, secret chat for a minute.
Okay.
All right, I just want to set the record straight for chat. I don't have an issue with this. Vergello has a dark secret that he's in love with the druid.
I'm secretly deeply in love with Aim.
Secretly deeply in love with the druid, and they're taking a hot bath together. So I just wanted
Josh is trying to cock block me.
No, I'm not cock blocking anybody. We do what we want. However, I just wanted to step aside and tell chat. I have no issue with this. However, I feel like I should get an insight roll from Aiden to see if he picks up on this at all. I don't know.
We've known each other for a long time. I probably asked him to bathe all the time. You can. That's totally
I'm gonna
fine.
do that. We're gonna go.
But I'm getting my dark secret XP. That's my goal.
Yes, you will get your dark secret XP, and I'm getting an insight roll from Aiden. Let's go back.
Perfect.
Beardless dwarf.
All right.
Hey, welcome
back.
I'm
We
back.
figured it out.
Vergello, we've solved.
I need an insight roll from Aiden.
Wait, an insight?
Yeah, give me an insight roll.
Josh, turn your camera on.
I don't think I need to roll an insight. It's pretty obvious.
Your character does. Your character does. You only.
Am I assisted by?
You're not assisted.
I gotta be assisted by him.
No. Go ahead, roll an insight roll. You are taking a bath with your bro, and the two of you.
Just economical.
Yeah, it's just economical.
Me and my master used to do this all the time.
The two of you are cracking some insensitive gay jokes, and you are having a lovely bath. And
you're not you, Josh.
That's something our DM would do.
Yeah.
No. All right.
I don't have a problem with it, but.
All right. The two of you bathe, and Aiden picks up on no signals, no dark secrets from anywhere, and the two of you are.
Why do they have to be dark?
They're not dark. And the two of you are done bathing. And so yeah, you're both clean now. You're not filthy from the road covered in blood and mud. And so 3 people have been washed, and the elf has not.
Dirty.
I didn't choose to. It was done to me.
It was a forced bath.
Yeah. You look like you enjoyed it.
Josh wasn't complaining about the interspecies hetero bathing thing that happened. But all of a sudden, 2 same-gendered half-elves take a bath together, and he's got a problem with it.
I don't have any problem with it. Now, I will share chat's contribution, which is too steamy for Twitch.
was a hot bath. It was very
It was a
steamy.
very hot bath.
Streams? It's basically
Um,
the same thing.
Let's just say there was some tension, but one half of the bath party didn't pick up on it, and everyone goes their separate ways. And we are now in the Three Skulls Tavern. Velas, as the only person not bathing, you glimpse out the window and you can see the dead parading up and down the streets, single file, just marching along. Some of them are these glowing, greenish colored ethereal spirits, and some of them are physical forms, rotted and dragging their feet along outside. And there are dozens just in the view out this narrow window of this one particular street, and they are parading their way to the gates of the town, turning around and parading their way back towards the village square. And you are just seeing dozens and dozens of the dead
Do they
marching by.
come up to the porch or anything?
No, they are just marching straight forward, all in single file, and they are keeping along those red painted stones on either side of the roads that run through the town. And like I said, some of them are ethereal in form, some of them are physical, rotted corpses marching down the road. And you do notice that many of them are soldiers dressed in full battle garb. You would say maybe 80% of them look like soldiers of one stripe or another. Some of them are dressed in a fashion that you more recognize, and some of them are dressed in the fashion of the humans of the southern lands. It looks like they're soldiers from both sides of a massive battle, most of them human, occasionally more elven looking forms, occasionally elves, dwarves, halflings, but probably 80% plus are human soldiers looking to be dressed either in the fashion of the Ravenlands that you are familiar with seeing, or dressed in some fashion of foreign soldiers from the far south.
And they're staying on the road. They're not veering off the road.
Right.
I'm gonna step outside.
You step outside. You step out on the front
I
porch, and the dead that are marching by turn and look at you, but continue walking exactly the same way, and then they turn back and keep walking. But each time one of them is coming by, they make eye contact with you on the porch and then keep walking.
I mean, I'll tap the bell 3 times and say...
Ding, ding, ding.
When the first one looks at me and say, I come in peace and amity in the hour of the dead.
There's like a semicircle of the dead. They step out into the road, and they're forming like a semicircle around you, and they all look at you. And when you say that, and then they resume walking on their aforementioned paths.
I'm staring at them. Are there any Rust brothers or Raven sisters at all?
You're not sure that you would be able to identify them on sight.
The Rust brothers aren't.
Rust brothers, you could probably identify on sight. Raven sisters, you're not sure how they typically dress.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about among the dead.
Mm-hmm.
You don't spot any that.
Yeah.
Your stereotypical descriptions of the things that those two religious orders typically wear.
And any sign of Ellis at all?
Elysis?
Elysis.
You can watch for a while. You want to watch for a while?
Yeah, I will. Mm-hmm.
All right. You watch for a while. You watch for a while. Soldier, 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 soldier. Hunter-looking fellow. Soldier, soldier, soldier. Little girl. Soldier, soldier, soldier. A guy that looks like he could be a wizard. Soldier, soldier, soldier. And then you see, after 10, 15 minutes, a man dragging his feet, and he has scars all over his face. He is not one of the ghostly figures. He is one of the corpses. And he looks less rotted than most of the other corpses you've seen go by. And he's dragging along, and he has scars across his face that look orderly they kind of remind you of the scars that you saw on the mad old man that was in the Rust Brothers tower.
In the tower.
He's got like scars along his face and neck that look orderly and sort of structured, like they were systematic. And he's dragging and limping a bit, and he's dragging a mug, like an empty ale mug, along with him, and he's lurching forward, and as he passes the flickering firelight of the tavern windows, you see a tattoo of a black dagger on the back of his hand.
He looks like a recent corpse?
He looks like a more recent corpse than most of the others. He does look very pale, and he's glistening a bit, as though he's wet.
But they said that he died years ago, so he shouldn't...
I mean, he probably just looks more fresh than the decades-old corpses.
But he still looks
He
like
looks somewhat rotted, and he's glistening and bloated.
Oh, okay. That still feels like it's kind of recent. Ulysses?
He stops and turns towards you, and he stops the procession. All of the dead behind him in the row stop marching.
Domino effect.
And there's a of all of the corpses stopping, and all of the ghosts stop up behind them, and everyone that gets stopped in the line turns and looks at you. And he's in the front of the gap, and the people that were in front of him keep going, but the people that are behind him stop and wait and look at you. So now you, within 30 seconds, have a dozen of the dead staring at you from out in the road, and you're standing on the porch of this tavern in the faint light, and he goes,
I'm gonna reach up and ring the bell 3 times and say, I come in peace and amity in the hour of the dead. If I can, I would like to talk to you, but I don't mean to hold up the entire procession.
He takes 3 steps off of the road and crosses that red painted stone line. And as soon as he does, all of the rest go marching on their merry way. And he takes 1 step across the red stone so that he's standing in the courtyard outside of the tavern. And he's wobbling a bit. You now see that his face has some gaps in it where the flesh is rotted off, and he's wet all over his face and clothes, and there's still a little water dripping off of his body, and he's holding an empty tankard. And the dead go parading on past him, his place in the line having been lost to the mass, and he's just staring at you.
I wanted to ask you about your tattoo. I know what the Rust Brothers did to you in that tower. And it was wrong. And I know what you did to them, what you were able to do. And I wanted to know about your tattoo. And if it's too much and you want to step back in line, that's okay. Or if you would like for me to fill your tankard, I can do that easily. Can you tell me about it?
He leans forward and holds out his tankard.
I'll grab it. I'll be right back. And I'll dash inside and pay 2 copper to get it filled.
There's still a hand attached to it.
Grab and pull and just rips off.
Get it filled and then back outside.
Okay, you step outside.
And just hand it back to him.
He takes a deep drink out of the tankard, and it goes pouring out holes in his body into a big puddle on the floor.
I love it.
In the mud, so now he's standing in a puddle of ale. And he's looking at you, waiting.
the tattoo, was it a physical dagger that's buried with you? Or was there another way to get the Phantom Dagger?
He says... he takes in a deep breath. You're expecting a sentence to come out of him, and he says,
My name's
Winnie, sister.
Winnie, sister?
Yep.
Winnie was a Raven sister?
Yes.
And she gave you the tattoo. You gave her the dagger. She stole the dagger.
He's dead.
He holds up his hand, which has the tattoo on it, and he says, dagger. And he touches the back of his hand and goes like this and withdraws a ghostly black phantom dagger from his hand and points it at you. Cool. It says, death.
I'll extend my hand for it.
Why?
Because there are things I need to know, and I think I need the dagger for it. And it also seems a curse that you should not have to bear any longer, especially in death. Let me bear the cross for you.
Speak of rust.
They're horrific assholes who need to be knocked down a peg. And I can't die. I'm the best person to do it.
He leans forwards and he takes a step towards you. And he pulls the dagger out. And he places his palm like this, and the dagger just floats above his palm. This black, ghostly phantom dagger with like black mist coming off of it. And it slowly floats from his palm to yours. Until it's floating above your hand, and then it sinks down into your palm, and it hurts like hell. This is like Wolverine claws just drilling into your flesh, and you feel the dagger piercing down into your hand, and blood is coming out your fingernails, and then after a moment, you have the black tattoo on your hand, and he says, avenge Winnie. Slay rust.
Until I
He
can't.
puts a wet, soppy hand on your shoulder, and it drips down, and you can feel it soaking in, and this guy reeks. And then he steps backwards,
I'm really gonna need that bad.
and he looks at you for a moment. Rest. And then he walks back into the parade, which pauses just long enough to give him a gap, and then he continues walking on. And you're looking at your hand, and you have a black dagger tattooed on the back of your hand.
And there's still a wet zombie hand on your shoulder.
There's a zombie
Yeah.
hand on my shoulder.
Now, in addition to being unbathed,
You smell like a drowned victim?
yeah, you smell like soggy corpse.
Half-rotted drowned victim?
A drowned alcoholic.
Yeah.
And
Distinct flavor.
as he goes marching off in the line, he's taking the mug and just drinking the dregs out of it and marching on in the line of corpses. And this leaves
That's
you
how I want to go.
standing on the porch outside of the tavern. Your friends have probably glanced out the door and are watching this from the tavern while there's music.
I was going to try and earn some cash playing music. I didn't care about her.
Okay, so anybody who wants to can have been viewing this with the sound of frivolity behind you and this really morbid thing happening outside. But you turn around and look back at the tavern.
Are the windows low enough that I could have seen?
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, I will see. I will watch.
What kind of short human would make a tavern without low windows?
Someone who doesn't want to be perceived as
The
short.
windows are definitely low enough. All right, you're walking back towards the tavern. and you feel
This town is not exactly goblin sensitive.
You feel this black dagger. You also, as you're moving along, first of all, you feel this piercing pain in your hand and forearm. You also you also feel a coldness in your heart as you go walking back towards the tavern. You feel as though there's a chill running up your arm that's also reaching into your soul. And as you step back towards the tavern and look inside, you're scanning over all of the patrons of the tavern. And while a moment earlier you might have felt amused at their song and dance and drunkenness and frivolity, you're looking them over and you're thinking, I care nothing for any of these people. Session. We're going to do experience and wrap it there.
The most successful game we've run.
All right.
Yeah, those dumb skeletons didn't scare us at all.
They gave you the shakedown, but nobody got spooked.
Skeletons won, us won. Let's go.
I'm going to... Let's do the experience stuff. And we'll pick up in 2 weeks. Before our next session, I'm going to post all these videos on our YouTube channel so that we have them all out there. So if you're watching this video and all of the preceding ones with minimal editing to cut out some of the dead time will be up on YouTube. Search for the Wanderers Guild because that's the only thing I can say right now. I still have to set up the channel. But these are all going to be posted on YouTube so that they are preserved. And all future sessions will get to YouTube within a week or two of them posting. Let's do XPs. Let's see, 39. All right, let's do our standard XP list here. Here we go. Did you participate in the game session? Boom, everybody gets one. Did you travel through at least one hex of the game map? We are not counting this because you started in the same hex that you ended in. So everybody gets 1 XP for participating in the session. No XP for traveling any hexes. Did you discover a new adventure site? I gave you that last time. I specifically said. So you're not getting a new one for this. Did you defeat one or more monsters? No. Despite what you may say about this zombie. Did you find a treasure worth a gold or more? No.
The friends we found along the way.
Add a new...
The Phantom Dagger?
Oh.
It might have no value.
That is actually an artifact worth more than a gold, so...
Can I have it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does only one person get that?
We're going to give it to everybody since you were all on the quest for this. If there's something that's completely self-contained, where it's like one person was looking for a thing and they found the thing, I'll give it to just them. But the whole party set out to hunt for the Phantom Dagger, and you found it by following the trail and getting to the town. So everybody gets an XP for the Phantom Dagger. Did you activate your pride? I don't believe a single person did.
I tried to, but I wasn't allowed to.
Sorry.
Sing a song.
What was your pride?
No, you're fine.
I don't remember what your pride was.
Don't worry about it.
Did you suffer from your dark secret? We're giving that to Hank and Bill.
I haven't suffered yet. I might.
Trust me, they'll all come up. Did you risk your life for another player character? Nobody did that. And did you perform an extraordinary action of some kind?
I took a bath with Ian. That was pretty extraordinary.
No, that counts as me being extraordinary.
Accepted the Phantom Dagger and talked to the ghosts and the undead.
I'm giving one.
I'm
giving one to Aimee.
I got a sponge bath from a goblin-hating maiden.
Wow, that was great. It doesn't give you an XP. I'm gonna give 1 XP to Aimee for confronting the dead guy and getting that, for being the one that found the thing you're looking for, and having the dramatic moment of the session. I'll give 1 to Aimee for that.
The only thing I did was push the lady to the brink.
You did.
God, I wish you
Had you cracked a lady and made her
still time.
Had you rolled one more success, but you found where her limit is, and you know that she can be pushed over if you get a good roll, especially with some aid. So maybe next time. But we'll give 1 to Aimee for extraordinary act for this, for being the star of the final scene here, where you found the dagger. Aimee, I'm going to message you between sessions with a little information as you're sitting in the tavern studying the properties of your newfound dagger tattoo evil thing. Everybody else, we will resume this in 2 weeks. Thank you all very much. Thank you everyone for watching.
GG.
Thank you, Josh.
And we will resume 2 weeks from today on
2 weeks.
November the 16th. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you.